What's up, everybody? This is your Uncle Bernie, man. I ain't dead yet. When I'm not dead, I'm listening to how to present We All Be News and Radio. I ain't scared of y'all. Kick it.
Brother Willard, are you there?
Yes, sir.
All right, We All Be News and Radio is proud to have on Brother Willard Pugh, acting great in my own mind. Starting one of my most favorite movies of all time, The Color Purple, a great character actor, and a true Hollywood survivor. How you doing today, sir?
Oh, very good. And that was a perfect description. I am a Hollywood survivor. You must know the truth.
Yeah, I definitely want to know the truth about that, because I think it's very important, because like I read recently that Halle Berry was complaining about the lack of acting roles for blacks still. And it's 2010, and I know you have a horror story and also a survivor and a triumphant tale. You went from being a victim to victor in terms of surviving that machine. And I want everybody to know about the realities of that machine and also about the great legacy you have left for us to all enjoy for posterity and beyond, because with your select roles, especially playing Harpo and Color Purple.
Well, thank you. I really do appreciate it. It's a tough road, and unfortunately, most people who don't live here and don't understand the business, and they only believe what they read in the tabloids and what the media wants them to see. Mm-hmm. They get caught up in that, and that's their so-called reality, and it's not real. It's not real at all. It's just a game that they play, and most people don't get it.
I want to talk about the reality of how you became an actor. Like, what was your influence? What started you into the acting profession?
Well, I've been acting since I was probably 5 years old. I was in nursery school, and I think my sister was in a play, and she was eating a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, fell off the curb and jammed her finger, and that wasn't enough to stop a person to me, but she didn't want to be in the play, and they asked me to take her place. It was at Parkway Gardens. Miss Farwell and Miss Preston were the teachers, and I took her place. I played a mouse, and from that mouse, it got into plays at Dunn Avenue School. Dorothy Akins was my first grade teacher, and your mother went to school with me over at Dunn.
Uh-huh.
And I used to sing on the program every year for Christmas and all the special programs, and I met a tutor while I was there who said, all the black kids can sing and dance. Why don't you learn to do something different? And he actually referred me over to the Memphis Children's Theater with Cookie Ewing and her mother, Lucille Ewing, who had ran that theater forever. And even during that time, it hadn't been but a few African-Americans that had been through there. Eric Henderson, myself, Tony Horn, I think Alicia Thompson, and a few others. And through being there, I started doing acting, dancing, building sets, doing more plays. I got exposed to a thing called Plays for Living. They used to tour around the city and do drug rehab plays for people. And Ann McCormick was in charge of that. She later worked for the library. And eventually she sent me the book, actually, for The Color Purple. Ann did. One of my first paying acting jobs. And she sent me the book, The Color Purple, and put a note inside that said, "You are Harpo." And that's how I actually first even heard of The Color Purple and got exposed to it. So I read that book, and I called my agent, told him about it, and I found out that Reuben Cannon was the casting director. And when I first was, I think even far back as when I was in high school, I had been sending Reuben Cannon pictures and stuff and resumes, because at first I said, well, maybe another African-American is going to help out another African-American if I send them some stuff, but that isn't always true, and it isn't always how it works, okay?
Right.
So I sent it out, and eventually Reuben did call me, and I didn't have to send any more stuff because my agent said, why don't you send it to us? I said, well, no, he got enough stuff for me to wallpaper his office. If he want me, he know where I am. I'm easy to find. It's like people say, where are you? It's hard to find. You can just put my name in Google or Yahoo, and it'll pull up everything, and you can easily find me. Nothing in my life has changed that much. I'm still the same person.
That's amazing. When you were doing this in high school, right? You were sending him this stuff in high school?
Yeah. I had done.
So you were ambitious. Wow.
When I was in junior high school at Colonial, it was when they first started busing. I actually left junior high school, the 9th grade, to go on the road with Jerome Ragney, who wrote the original Hair on Broadway, the Broadway play Hair. Jerome pulled me out of school and took me on the road with him, and I did Billy Hill in a play called Dude over at Memphis State University when I was in junior high school. And then we got lucky with Cookie Ewing. She got us doing picture pages. It used to be over Channel 13. And we get on there and do that once a week, which was my first real exposure to television. But I always knew as a kid that acting was what I loved to do. I used to put on shows on my front porch, and my sisters would make the Kool-Aid and the lemonade, and all the neighbors would come. We'd make a little curtain, and I'd do imitations of Stevie Wonder, James Brown, and all the Jackson 5, because there wasn't nobody but me. So I had to do all the 5. So it was just something I knew I loved to do, and so that's what I followed and went to school and Webster College Conservatory for 2 years until they kicked me out. They said I wasn't good enough for the program. And I graduated from the University of South Dakota. And then later on, as Color Purple and a few other movies came along, then they started using my name to actually draw students. So life's a funny thing.
It is a funny thing, why everything comes full circle. I like to talk to you about what's some. I know you mentioned Jackson 5 and James Brown and Stevie Wonder, but who were like some of your acting heroes or heroes that influenced you to go this path too?
Well, back in the day, we only had very few. Sidney Poitier, because it was very limited. So Sidney was definitely one of them. Harry Belafonte, I remember seeing him. Believe it or not, Bill Bojangles Robinson, because even though he tapped a lot, he was for the first positive people I saw in a crossover, a white movie like doing. I used to always watch Shirley Temple. Because even though he was the guy who was called so-called servant, he was always keeping their family together, to me, saving their white family. Because the little girl would be an orphan, or she was always left by herself, and he had to raise her, and he was like the father figure to her. And he was multi-talented as a performer. So, and I just look at those things. I believe it or not, I love Sepp and Fetchit. As I got older, I read things about him. His real name was Lincoln Perry. He was an educated black man that made a choice to play the roles that he played because that was what was working during that time period, and it made him become one of the most successful actors of his time financially and career-wise. So he would be like what Will Smith is today in his day. Unfortunately, he did not know what to do with his success and the money that he made, and he ended up, I think, dying with about $34 in the bank.
Oh, wow.
But he was an educated man playing those roles during that time. So it wasn't like he was just a guy that actually shuffled along and did what he did. If it had not been for him, there would be no Richard Pryors. There'd be no Eddie Murphy. And so I tried to just learn from those people who did the things that they did do but not make some of the mistakes that they made.
That makes sense. So you also got a passion for history there. Would you say you're a historian?
Oh, yeah. I've taught film history. I worked at Chaffey College for about 11 years. I taught American film history, world film history, and also video production. And I just always had been into studying the people that were before me, because there's no reason for you to make the same mistake if somebody's made it already. You can read through it and see what they did, and hopefully you can kind of alter your course a little bit. Some things you can't change because this business is the way it's been since the beginning of time, and it has never really changed. People keep thinking it's changed, but it hasn't changed that much in the way it's really run. It's pretty much just reinvents itself.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
So, yeah, so studying that history to me is very important, and then trying to redirect it and change it. You know, unfortunately, even Hallie's case, it took her to actually play in that Monsters Ball, which for me, I didn't really care for the movie.
Right.
They would be on the screen making love to the ugliest white guy on the planet, Billy Bob Thornton, but they're making her give her an Oscar.
Right.
So not to say he ain't Brad Pitt. He's not Tom Cruise. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
Who is considered our black film royalty, and put her with their trash to me. Okay, Billy's done some good things, but he's not considered their royalty. But you can take our royalty and put it with their worst. Then you wait with Denzel. He had to be the worst animal on the planet in
Trailer Day.
And King Kong ain't got nothing on him, and compared to a gorilla, when he's done Philadelphia, where he played a lawyer. What was the one that he did a really good? Hurricane.
Right.
He did a great acting job for me. I thought he was tremendous in that role because it was something so far away from Denzel and other things that I had seen him really play as an actor. But then people said because he played a convicted felon, he didn't get an Oscar. Well, the next year, Charlize Theron did Monster, and that was a convicted felon that ended up dying in jail, yet she got an Oscar. So you see, it's a double standard. But you don't pay attention to those things.
Yeah, but you definitely on point. It's like on point analysis, like from behind enemy line, because you understand the nature of the beast. And I want to talk to you about yourself making history with the color purple. I mean, you look at that lineup; it's amazing. Like you had yourself and Oprah and Lawrence Fishburne and Danny Glover and Whoopi Goldberg. You had so many people. Adolf Caesar. I think he also.
I was in St. Louis.
Yeah, I think he just don't get the credit he deserves. I mean, I think he was a tremendous talent. Things like
Adolf was a guy who came up when he was too light to be black and too dark to be white. And he had done Shakespeare. He'd done Shakespeare longer than probably as long as Sir Laurence Olivier, and at the level of Sir Laurence Olivier, but he was black. And he used to do Shakespeare in the Park with Joe Papp and all that stuff. And he was one of the kings of voiceover work. Like for most of those Bristol Myers Aspirin commercials and things like that, a lot of those voices was Adolf.
Oh, wow, I didn't know that. Wow.
Don't get famous from your voice. Now, you can make some money, a lot of money with it, but nobody knew you. And a lot of times I think Adolph's friends, Robert Hooks and James Earl Jones and all those people he came up in theater with grew to a bigger success so far as people knowing them, and he never really got that fame that they got. But he was just as great an actor, if not better than a lot of those guys. But again, it was timing, Hollywood, and what people wanted to see, and believe it or not, lighting and how you light a dark person or a light person on the screen and technology. That's why in the early days you would always see the black person and a white person. You hardly ever saw a light person and a light black person and that person because they didn't want to take the time to light. Even as I came into the business in the 80s, people would talk about, the different lighting and having a key light. Well, that's an extra light they have to put on you so you don't look too dark and you come out on screen. So that forced me to learn even the technical aspects of filmmaking, just so I can make sure I was lit properly.
That's amazing. Like all that stuff goes into, like racism and technology. Wow.
If you don't keep up with it, you get left behind.
I see. You
come out nothing but eyes and teeth. Now they got all this high definition and everybody complaining. It doesn't really affect African Americans as bad because, as you know, nobody knows our age. We can be 80 years old and still look like we're now, white actors are complaining because they're showing every wrinkle, crack, and crevice and every crow's foot on their face. But then you're the one that won't HD.
You're right about that.
Then they turn around and say, well, look, can y'all put a soft filter on it? Well, if you went back to old film, which is rough and raw anyway, nobody would ever notice that you was really 85 trying to play 35.
That's true. I know Spencer Tracy, if you was living today, I just look at
my God.
Right. I saw some of his movies this past week. I was
okay, he could have been a roadmap, okay? All them years of drinking and everything.
Yeah, exactly.
With those lines in his face, but he was a brilliant actor. I still love Spencer Tracy. He was great.
He definitely. But I was thinking about what you saying about the lighting and color. I think about Freddie Washington of all people. And, the hell that so many people had to endure. I even think about, like one of the first black feature films, talkies, were done in Memphis, Hallelujah. Part of it was, and Nina Mae McKinney, the hell she caught.
That's right.
And I think about Freddie Washington. I think about so many people that came before.
Okay, Hattie McDaniels.
Hattie McDaniels, right.
$500 a day playing a maid and $5 a day being a maid.
That's right, but that's the thing about people. We get ashamed because I'm into music history, and I got a great respect and admiration for Louis Armstrong. But you look at him and how he portrayed himself back then. You think he was a buffoon, but if you read his letters and it's like what you said with Stephen Fetcher, the guy Lincoln Perry or Hattie McDaniel. These guys and women were very conscious brothers and sisters.
They were very conscious and hard, and they really wanted other major changes, but they knew they had to get in the door first. Mm-hmm. And once they got in, they tried to make changes, but unfortunately, a lot of people didn't go with the change. And even to the day, we still don't go with the change. With the African Americans are in position to do things, and half of them aren't really making any changes.
But they're afraid. They don't want to lose their position in the system. Right?
They don't want to lose their position, and once one makes it, they think that's it. And then people don't understand. You can't do it by yourself. You can't win a war by yourself.
Exactly. Yeah. But
one of us making it doesn't make the rest of us okay.
Well, speaking of that, though, you made history now. I mean, I look at the cast of Color Purple, I mean, did you know that this was going to become such a big thing when you first became a part of it?
Well, it seemed like everybody asked me that question, and it seemed like I'm the only person that knew that was going to be making history. Everybody else act like this is some phenomenon. How did you know? Who didn't know? First of all, Alice Walker wrote a book that sold, over 100 million copies.
Mm-hmm.
If the book sold over 100 million copies, I mean, that's 100 million people that like the book.
Right.
So you figure you make a movie. It's going to be 100 million people that's going to go watch that book.
Right.
Be made into a film. Then you got 100 million that don't like Alice or don't like the story, and they're going to go just to see you mess up. So they give you 200 million right there. Do the math. You're right, though. They fail as much as they come to see you succeed.
Wow, that's some insight right there.
And then the story itself was a story that related to everybody, because when people read it, that wasn't 100 million black people that read that book. That was 100 million people. So they're telling me you're hitting white, black, Hispanic. You're crossing all borders, barriers, and lines, because everybody has that problem within their race. It's not a black problem. And I hated, the biggest problem I really had with Color Purple, period, is that when people act as if that movie had to represent all black people. That's one movie with one situation and a story about those women and their lives. Right. That's why sometimes, there were stronger male roles in the book, but as you're making a movie, you can't always put everything in. The book was long, and the movie was, 2.5 hours long, and the actual real movie was probably 4 hours long, and Stephen had to cut it down. One of my best scenes was when I broke up the fight in the juke joint, which was probably the only scene where you saw Harpo really being a man, but it was cut out. And so black men started saying, well, none of the men were strong. Well, one, it really wasn't our movie. That was a woman's movie. It was their story. Right. So some things suffer in that process. But the thing is, I know that's not all black people. That's not all black men. And I saw just as many white people crying and upset. Just as many white people got divorces after that movie because they got sick of their husbands that mistreated them, Hispanics. I just did a children's drive last Saturday, and a Hispanic lady came up to me and cried and boo-hooed and took pictures with me, saying it was her favorite movie. And believe it or not, the lady knew every line in the movie, so she wasn't lying.
No,
I couldn't remember them lines. I'm going, Jesus Christ. I've been in Puerto Rico, and people speaking in Spanish and saying color purple. So I don't care where you go, the movie transcends race. It's just a people. It's about people. It's about women and their suppression and their struggle and what they went through. But unfortunately, a lot of time African Americans, especially males, will say, oh, we use negative image of black men, save the black family. The NAACP picketed us when the movie came out. We were picketed in New York and in L.A. Then when we didn't get any Oscars, they picketed us because we didn't win anything. Which made us look twice as dumb. And what happened was white America said, guess what? If the NAACP and black people don't like it, we can't make any other films like this because it upsets them. It's just like anybody else. If the Jews would come out and say some movie that was made that upset them, guess what? They wouldn't make more of those movies that upset them either.
It's funny, though.
It killed our careers. At least, it helped kill my career. It was a bunch of movies that was set to be made. They were classic black films. I think Tar Baby. These were all books we read in school. They used to be on the reading list. All of a sudden, we got to some bougie level where now all these are negative films and these are negative stories.
Well, I was thinking about what you said, because I had a chance to talk to Eric Monty, the creator of Good Times, and did Coolie High, and then I thought about what you said about Lincoln Terry.
Another great film. Coolie High, great film.
It was. I thought it
great film. One of the greatest films probably ever made.
Yeah, it was well made, but it was an authentic black story. It was told from a perspective of a person who happened to be African American. In the reality, a lot of these sitcoms were mostly white writers on the staff who didn't have any understanding about the experience, like you said. But it's like we got all changed.
They're still the same. They got one black writer and 10 white writers.
Yeah, but I want to think about what you said about Stephen Fetcher. Like, here he is, like the NAACP helped in his career, but yet they gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award at the end. If all said and done. The Beverly Hills.
They always did before you get something. Who was it? On Golden Pond, Henry Fonda. He actually, his first film, Grapes of Wrath, was his best work that he ever did in his life. But it was his first film. He didn't get it until he did On Golden Pond. He had one foot in the grave.
That's amazing. But I want to touch, like you just said, destroy your career. I like to touch upon that. Cause I think, this is around the time you're in the 80s and whatnot, and I know a lot of people like Samuel Jackson, they had a problem with some of the rappers, getting a lot of roles as well. But you actually said that the protests from the black community helped destroy or curtail your career. Because
what happens, you get pigeonholed or stereotyped,
mm-hmm.
and people felt that because there was so much negativity with The Color Purple, with the male roles, they would say you look at that and you see Harpo and you don't see you don't see a positive image, so they're not going to support this particular actor. Because any white actor that had been in a movie like A Color Purple, you can see he'd be a Tom Cruise.
Right.
For us, Danny struggled. Color Purple didn't blow Danny up. Danny blew up from Lethal Weapon, which is a movie he did with Mel Gibson. And he was Mel Gibson's sidekick in the movie, and Mel carried him up to that next level, financially and career-wise of getting those movies. Because once you're in blockbusters with a guy like Mel Gibson, the door is going to open. It didn't open with Color Purple. And he was great in the first one. I think it was that he did a movie with Sally Fields. I can't think of the name of the movie off the top of my head right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a film he did before Color Purple. And with Sally Fields, he was just brilliant in that movie. So his acting ability had already been there and established. I think he did also another movie with Harrison Ford about some Mormons or something.
Oh, The Witness. I know you're talking about The Witness.
Yeah, brilliant in that movie. But again, until he got with until he got with Mel Gibson and did the Lethal Weapon series, that's when he took off and became a megastar.
That's true. Like, like you said,
it wasn't Color Purple, because trust me, most of the people didn't support it like they thought. They supported it at the movie theater, and it made money,
right? Because
it was such a watched film. But so far as our careers and making more roles, Margaret Avery, who's been acting since those Which Way Was Up with Richard Pryor, and even
I like Margaret. Mm-hmm.
Her career should have blew up after The Color Purple. She was riveting as Shugs.
She was.
And then I think she had done an article, a thank you letter in the trades. And unfortunately, Hollywood thought she was begging for an Oscar, but actually she wrote a letter in the Color Purple language, Dear God, and really thanking them for nominating her. But people took it as if she was begging, and she was not. Because my agent called me and woke me up, go read this article. You won't believe what Margaret Avery has done. She's begging for an Oscar. That wasn't what Margaret was doing.
Right, exactly.
Being creative and using the Color Purple language, and it got blown out of proportion. And she still is a brilliant actress, and she's still gorgeous and looks good after all these years. Margaret is retired from, she was a clinical psychologist, I believe, with the school board. So I know that means, age-wise, she probably don't want me to tell her age, but that means she got to be over 65 if she retired. And she don't look a day over 50.
Oh, that's amazing. Black don't crack, right?
Oh, good black don't crack, okay? My granny told me that.
But you know what's crazy? Because she went from being a part of the system to being like, I would say she probably like Dr. Francis Crescent Wilson, the ISIS papers.
Okay.
You know, and we need to read it. It should be required reading for every person, really. Not just school kids. But, I just feel sorry. I want to ask you this, too. It's a personal thing, like, because people identify you. I know Danny Glover got a lot of hell for being close identified with Mr. and you with Harpo. Were you afraid to go out to restaurants and whatnot? I had to hire a bodyguard, I think, only when I went to Atlanta because of a few crazy folks. And I broke up their marriage. And I don't even know your wife, okay? You abuser, and that's why your wife left you. It got nothing to do with me. Your wife saw the movie, and it gave her the power and the strength to leave your bum behind, okay? That's what happened. Okay, that's not me. But, like, y'all paved the way to me. I look at another controversial film that kind of evokes something. It's like it might evoke some of the same responses as Precious, the movie Precious.
Yeah, same thing with Precious, and people want to say, well, this is a negative movie. Well, the only reason really people say that is because only every 10, 15, 20 years a very powerful black film is made. And usually when it is, it's on some negative subject matter. Mm-hmm. But when we have positive subject matter, nobody goes to see it anyway. People don't like good news. People like bad news.
That's true, though. I do.
If you didn't like bad news, there wouldn't be so many cop shows. CSI Miami, CSI L.A., CSI Hawaii.
The Wire.
CSIs and crime shows and anything I've ever seen.
Right.
Because we like negative. We don't like positive. When we make good films, people don't go out and see it. The Great Debaters was a great movie, but
it was.
People on one hand, they went to see the movie. But it was a great film. And that's something I think all young people should see, because those are things that your parents and our parents went through to get us to put us in a position to even get an education. And now some places school is almost free, and people don't even want to go. Well, we couldn't even get to go.
Right. We
had to get raggedy books and hand-me-downs to get in there. Now they have the opportunity to take advantage of some of these things, and people don't even want to go to school. The dropout rate is at an all-time high.
Oh, wow.
Jail is filling up on a daily basis.
Right.
And people don't understand that jail is just a new form of slavery. Slavery has never, when they couldn't keep selling and doing cotton havens in the plantations, then they moved us to the prisons. And the sad thing is that African-American people don't understand that that's what that is. That's slavery.
Yes.
It's a new way of cheap labor because you're in there making jeans, a license plate, or something that somebody's making a whole lot of money off you.
Mm.
The business alone is a booming, multi-billion-dollar business. I'm a probation officer. That's my full-time job when I'm not acting. And I've been one for 18 years. So I see them coming and going. And it's a very high-volume, money-making business. The more they lock up, the more money we make. And I always tell my boys, put me out of business. Make me have to find another job. That's what I want you to do. That's
that is right.
Out of work. Because if you're not going to jail, I got nobody to lock up. I have nobody to supervise.
You know what's
a new form of slavery.
But I know I look at it's like it's always some exceptions to the rule. Cause I think about what you just said. I think about Charles Dutton and how he found himself, in prison.
Okay, but now that's another story too. That's a twist on white America.
Mm-hmm.
They'll take a guy who's up for murder or who murdered somebody, and they can make him a star. I never committed a crime and can't get arrested.
Look at
that. See what I mean? We don't like positive. They like negative.
You're right. You're right.
Here you got a guy who came out of prison, and they gonna make him a star, give him a TV series. I have never. Only thing I went to jail for was dog at large. Okay, that means your dog off a leash. Maybe a speeding ticket in my lifetime. This man commits murder and becomes a megastar. But that's again white America and what they do.
Mm.
And people don't even realize. They don't even look at those things. I love Sam Jackson, but guess what? Sam was a drug addict.
Right, he was.
And now look what they took him to the level of. But I never did drugs a day in my life. There are a lot of people that never did them, and we can't get arrested. So he's telling me living a clean life and doing the right things and being God-fearing, what does that bring you? See what I mean? That's the message that you're sending. You don't understand. That's the negative message that you're seeing. Get on drugs, do craziness, go to jail, come out, you'll be a star.
Hey, you see that going on right now. I look at what happened with T.I. and some of these rappers and whatnot. I don't get your take on that. Mm-hmm. Same
thing. And then they put rappers in movies because, the bottom line is money. The only real color, Hollywood isn't even as really as racist as people think. The only color they really see is green. Okay? That's the real color. And if it makes money, they'll do it. And they'll put a rapper in the movie because rappers already got a following. They don't have to go out and do a lot of promotion, a lot of hustle, put them in there because everybody that bought their records are going to come see their movies. Whether they can act or not, nobody cares. And that's why sometimes the stories suffer and the reputation of African Americans suffer because those images, they're not true actors, and they can't bring that the softer side to the character, the moralistic side to the character. Acting is really a skill. It takes a lot of work. It takes a lot out of you. When you create those characters and becoming those characters, it takes a lot out of you to become those characters and doing that research and that homework. And those guys, most of them, if you ever look at a movie, they're playing themselves.
Yeah.
They're not playing somebody else.
I'll think about 50 Cent when you said that. I'll think about 50 Cent. I can't listen to
50 Cent plays himself all the time.
He's just 50 Cent. I don't see no difference.
50 Cent, okay? He is just 50 Cent.
Well, what about like Will Smith? We think about Queen Latifah or Will Smith or people like that, or even Ice Cube. You think they transcended it, or you think they still?
Well, Ice Cube has not definitely. He hasn't transcended. Ice Cube, nice guy, but he just Ice Cube. He's not an actor. Ice Cube's Ice Cube. He's Ice Cube on the news show. That angry look that he had when he was in WA. That's his whole character for the brother in this new series who the brother-in-law scared of him.
Right.
Okay? No, that's not acting. Be something that's not you. I mean, Will is just Will to me. I'm sorry. Love him too, but Will is just Will. Mm-hmm. Every now and then he might have hit a deep roll on a couple of things. But overall, Will is just Will. Unfortunately, a lot of actors, as they get that success, they become themselves. I mean, sometimes I'm sorry, Sam is just Sam to me now.
Yeah, he's like
yelling in every movie.
Right. Like Dave Chappelle did a great example about, the Sam Jackson method of acting on his sketch show. It's like it is just Sam Jackson because like he's speaking that certain voice.
Yeah, that's why they just yelling. They don't do the research. I mean, he may cut his hair a little bit away, a little bit of his time, but he doesn't change his person. His walk doesn't change. His persona of him and the yelling and everybody don't yell.
Right.
It's some quiet people.
truth, though. It's funny, but it's sad and it's true.
I mean, think about it, all of them, he's always yelling. Sometimes, I mean, I honestly try to consciously do the opposite of whatever I did the last time.
Right.
Sometimes you'll find a person doing a character the same, so I can't always blame them because when they hire you, people have asked me a million times, I want the same guy that was in Robocop. I did that already.
You made the trade, right?
They're paying me to play that role, so that's what they want me to do.
Right.
They love that character and they love that role.
That's true.
But you know, after a while, as an actor, you want to do other stuff that challenges you. I mean, I think the only thing I'm waiting to do that I can go ahead and they can call me on home is to do a Western. I would love to do a Western because that's something as a kid, I grew up watching Westerns. I'd love to do a good Western with some black people in it.
But you never know there was a lot of black cowboys when they do.
Man, it was a ton of Buffalo Soldiers. Right. With Dick. I mean, we had black marshals. There was one that did the guy was one of the. He was a marshal that shot a guy over 100 yards with a rifle.
Yeah, Bass Reeves. Yeah, I
there you go. See what I mean?
Yeah,
there's tons of great stories out there.
But you remember the guy who used to sing for Duke Ellington? He played a black cowboy back in the day, but he really was Italian. I forgot his name. He's still around, but he used to sing for Duke Ellington. But he thought it was a need to help black cowboys. Even though he was Italian, he thought Italian American. He thought there was a need for black folks to have a black cowboy.
And it was.
Mm-hmm.
Because those were our heroes growing up. I don't care what people think, the good guy, the bad guy. I hate that they always say the bad guy wore black.
So black hair, right, black hair,
so what are you trying to say?
Because even this movie right now that just came out, True Grit, I want to see it because the way the advertising are very good, but it could have some brothers in there. Like even Morgan Freeman was in Unforgiven with Clint Eastwood.
Yeah.
You know,
that was the thing. And sometimes I think, because I believe, what was it? Stephen did, what was that military movie he did?
Oh, I know you're talking about Saving Private Ryan. That was
and it upset me because my dad was in World War II, and I knew a lot of people who were in World War II. And some guys were cooks a lot, but there were some guys in the war zones and places, but they black fought separately, they said, from the white people. So that's why they didn't have them in the movie.
But they had the Red Ball Express. Who was the one giving supplies to the Third Army when they invaded Normandy? You know, the Red Ball Express were truck drivers who were black. Who was supplying food, ammunition, and the gas.
And that's what a lot of times where I hate to say that makes you sad because it makes that history look crazy. Like we never had a major part of history, and we're some of the biggest part of them winning most of the wars that's ever taken place.
So we fought every war we fight.
All the brothers was on the front line.
Exactly. We was clay pigeons for every war. I mean,
every war we've been that thing. I think that's why my dad was never big on. He was in the military, but he always never wanted any of us to be in it because he said that was one point in his life when he felt like he was the NIG. Because that's how they were treated. After you go over there and fight for your country, and you come back and can hardly get a job. Other people, they got instantly on with the post office or other government jobs, and our people had to suffer and struggle to get whatever they could get. And it's just crazy. And nothing has changed. I mean, even now it happens even for white Americans when you go to the war and they come back, shot up, blown up, and losing their jobs. They fighting, their families are going hungry and broke, and, you know, it's a shame.
It is, but it's true what you said. I be trying to tell young people, do not join the military, because if you can't get what you want over here, why are you going over somewhere else to design folks what they need?
The military is not our friend. It has never been.
I don't say support the troops. They don't support the veterans.
Look, Lincoln only set the slaves free because they were losing the war. They would never want the Civil War had been for the slaves. He didn't let them free because he wanted y'all to be free now.
I know when people get it twisted, but I'm just thank God for people like that, our voices of reason, and you got knowledge, but yet you need to be amplified. We need to be hearing you speak more about these things. And
no, when I speak about those things, I'm negative and I'm crazy.
No, you're not negative crazy. I know better than that.
Nobody wants to hear the truth. We want to have a camouflage view of what is really real. And I've always been a realist. I've never been optimist on a lot of stuff. I'm a realist because certain things in life are the way they are. Certain things are black and white. They're always going to be black and white, and I can't change them. The horses will not have 4 legs, as long as I know, unless it's a birth defect.
Right.
Okay. It's just some things are not going to change. So it is what it is, and if it changes, it's because we consciously make the effort to make that change.
Exactly.
And most of us don't want to make that change. You know, now they have the Oprah Winfrey Network and all that stuff coming, and I don't see the major change because I think I was looking at some on the internet with a roster. I didn't see that many black shows on there.
I mean, but she don't cater to black folks no more. She really caters towards the powers that be. I want to ask you about Oprah, earlier Oprah. How was it to work with Oprah on The Color Purple?
On The Color Purple, it really wasn't that bad of an experience. She was big in Chicago, but she wasn't big anywhere else. And everybody kept saying how she ran Donahue out of Chicago. So she came with a little bit of a little attitude there, but it wasn't that bad because when she got onto the movie set, that was new to her. She didn't know any of that. So she couldn't, this wasn't a talk show, so she was the student in that situation. And so she had to learn. So she couldn't carry on as much as she does now. Now it's bigger than life. You know, so it wasn't a difficult experience for me. Just making sure that I worked close with her on what we had to do to make it as real, so that way she didn't have to, and a lot of stuff she didn't have to act, she could actually relive. Because her life, a lot of that stuff happened in her real life. Exactly. And when you draw back on those things and those emotions, it gives you those performances, which is probably why, I don't know if she hadn't had that many other good ones after that.
Right.
Because it's still a craft that you got to learn. You got to learn to do what you do to make it keep coming back. It's not that something you can just, because one time it hits, lightning doesn't always strike twice in the same place.
So you said so she was doing method acting, is that what they call it?
Yeah, that was definitely some method acting, because a lot of those things that happened in the movie were really close to her own life story. It's like I did a movie with Dr. Hang Noor, and it was Dr. Hang Noor, myself, and Lou Diamond Phillips, and Dr. Hang Noor had a scene where he was dying. And Lord knows it took him so long, I wanted to kill him. And he said, I am not an actor. It was my life. And he was referring to killing fields. And once he said that, me and him was cool.
Wow.
Because I'm sitting up there thinking, you got an Oscar, and you can't die in this tub. Oh, I can kill you.
You are hilarious, man. You are so funny.
So once he let me know that he knew he really was not an actor, then I have no problem with that. Because when he did Killing Fields, he relived his life. Once they put him back over there in Cambodia or wherever, he was reliving things that he experienced through his childhood. And that's not really acting, that's reliving. So when we did Color Purple, some of the things to me, Oprah had experienced in her real life, that once you get put in that environment, you relive it. You're not having to act. You see, a lot of things I had to go out and find older people who had been in these situations because I had never lived in that time period.
Right.
I was grateful for a buddy of mine, Chip McAllister, that played in The Greatest. His grandpa Lou and his girlfriend Sally helped me with the dances and how the people used to talk and the things that he saw and what they did and how they carried themselves and going around hanging out with old blues guys that I could find and talking to them about juke joints. I didn't really know about a juke joint until I got that script. And there's things that they did and how they did what they did and drinking out of jars and their behavior and the shoes. You know, guys said, well, lace them up tight. You'll find out why you walk like that. And when you lace them two shoes up like that, it doesn't make your feet hurt. They go tight around your ankles. You're going to walk funny. So it makes the character just come more to life. You know, so, but you got to understand the time, understand the people. And I did as much homework. My grandfather, who was, 92, I think, when he died. And his brother was 103 just when he passed away here a couple of years ago. So being around those people and talking to them about the times and what went on and what people did and how people carried on, that's what actors do when you're really doing your homework. And that's the kind of work you have to put into doing roles. And if ever you play a role that's somebody that is alive, that's somebody new, that's even harder because I would never want a family member to say, that's not my son, that's not my husband. I mean, you want to try to embody that person. What's my man name that played Dr. King? He also was in
Winfield.
The guy, he was in, he was great too. He was great too. Paul Williams was great, but as a young guy. He was in, played Peoples. He played Peoples in the new Shaft.
Jeffrey Wright. Yeah.
Jeffrey Wright turned around and played Dr. King. Now, Jeffrey don't look nothing like him. Light-skinned brother, played a Puerto Rican, then played Dr. King. That's a brilliant actor. That's acting.
Yeah, he is a brilliant actor. He made believe Dr. King. You're right.
But where is he?
It. Okay,
where's Jeffrey? He should be working all the time. That brother was brilliant. Because he went from, when I first heard he was doing Dr. King, I said, hey, there's no way. But I believed it. Once you get in it, you embody the spirit of the person, you get caught up in the ride, you forget that he may be a couple of shades lighter.
Like Denzel with Malcolm X, though. Like Denzel with Malcolm X. I mean, he owned that role of Malcolm.
I personally thought Larry Fishburne should have played that role.
You heard? Wow, I can see that. I think
Larry would have been way. Everybody raved about Denzel, and not to hate Denzel, but I thought Larry would have been a better Malcolm X. He looked like him. He looked like him, and he embodied that kind of personality. Larry always, if you ever watch how he walks and carries himself, He has that kind of that standoffish thing that Malcolm had.
Yeah,
I just think he would have ate that up, but he wasn't a big enough star at the time, so that's why he didn't get it. And I guess they felt that without a major star like Denzel, the movie might never be made. See, a lot of black films, if you don't have certain people connected to them, those movies won't ever get made. Those stories won't ever get told. I don't think it always does us the best turn on that that story getting told the correct way, though, because I really think that Larry would have he'd have devastated that role.
I can see that, right?
I saw Denzel still walking like Denzel. I didn't see him walking like Malcolm X.
But that's the same thing he did for the American Gangster role. He wasn't really Frank Lucas.
I didn't think so either.
I mean, I hear Frank Lucas, and I said, this ain't no way in hell.
That's what I mean. To me, if the person is alive, Frank was alive, and they say he was on the set.
Right.
So if you're going to do that, you got to, I want to be him. I can't be me being him.
Right.
I got to be him being him. Even in Color Purple, there's things that Willard would not have done that Harpo would do. I wouldn't do some of that stuff that he did, but Harpo would do that.
That's true. I mean,
he loved his wife, so her hidden in all the fights, and every time we get in the fight, we had a baby. Me, after a couple of fights, I'd have left. Because I just don't believe in fighting.
Maybe those shoes
if I think I won't hit you, I'm leaving you.
Right. Maybe those shoes were tied too tight for Harpo to get the circulation.
That's why he couldn't get away. No, so to me, when you have those kind of roles, but people who don't understand the whole the acting thing altogether, they don't even get it sometimes. And they get caught up in their moments. But no, Denzel was fine, but to me, Larry would have tore that role apart and just brought Malcolm out of the grave.
You know, I wish I could have saw people who could play that role today. I want to ask you that because I know Ossie Davis said he respected what Spike did, but it need to be a remake some years later from a different perspective.
Because I'm telling you, because they didn't get it. They didn't get Malcolm. They didn't get Malcolm, the one I've read about.
You know who brought him back though?
They had some big dramatic moments, but he was a subtle killer to me.
It was fit for the middle class. Yeah, it was fit for the middle class. Cause I'll tell you this, because like the same crowd that attacked the Color Purple are the same folks that didn't want to resurrect Malcolm. It was the hip hop people, the hip hop kids that resurrected Malcolm. The rappers that brought him back. I mean, I talked to a jazz musician when they did the play Malcolm up in New York back in the 80s. He talking about it was so many middle class bougie black folks that was a set about talking about Malcolm. Because Ossie Davis, that's why he had to say the eulogy, "I Shining Black Prince," because there was so many black folks that did not want to own Malcolm. Most people don't want to know that with the good of you, sometimes there's some bad. And Malcolm was a pimp before he turned to what he turned to. That's true.
Preachers were pimps and things before they became preachers, okay?
That's true.
Some people have to go down the dark road to become a good person.
Like the Baptist road to the Baptist, like Saul. Right.
Yeah. But Lisa, at some point, I think when Malcolm did make his change, he truly made a change. And he truly was going for the best in our people. I mean, at one point, I think once it got to where him and Dr. King were going to meet and talk and start to kind of do some cohesive actions together, that's when it became a problem, and both of them had to go.
Yeah, but you
realized that the Kennedys did not like Dr. King. They needed Dr. King.
Right, they did. They didn't want to be responsible for the wiretaps, Bobby Kennedy.
Okay, I mean, they needed him. They wasn't that they liked him.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
They needed him. So that's how that was, and Malcolm ended up going, and because it was really kind of putting the glue to getting black people to wake up. And it's a shame that we have to have a leader to make us wake up, because I'm sorry, certain things happen to me, I'm already wide awake. You got to do it to me twice.
You're right. I'm actually this too, I think it's important because both of these guys, Malcolm and Martin, understood the power of media ownership, of controlling our image, how it's projected around the world. And that is the truth. And we still haven't gotten it because they don't understand that what they see, media controls everything. Because I don't care what age you are, there's not a kid, unless he just didn't have a TV, that didn't watch Superman, and then take a sheet or a towel, tie it around his neck, and try to fly. You're right about that.
Some of them jumped off the roof of their house and broke their bones trying to fly. That's the power of the media.
Mm-hmm.
You get up there and watch a Western, you get on a broom, and you riding and shooting at everybody in the house. You know you ain't got no horse in the ghetto. But that broom in your mind was a horse, was a palomino pony. You had a stallion and would pull it up and go, nay with it. You know that's a broom?
You tell the truth, man, bro.
But after a while, everybody in the house thought you was a horse, okay? So that's the power of media. So now even when we get saturated, and now we're oversaturated with some of the, unfortunately, hip-hop crap, they believe that that's what we are. Because I'm sorry, your pants sagging and hanging down, I don't need to see your behind. I don't want to see your behind. That's a negative thing. That's not a positive. And really in the jail culture, that's who they know who has been punked and who hadn't been punked. But we buy into an image that sells for marketing purposes, and that's not who we are. And it makes you look sloppy and slouchy, and you wonder why everybody think you're a thug because you look like a thug, walk like a duck, quack like a duck. Most likely it's a duck.
That's true. But you know what's funny, though, is when, see, hip-hop wasn't that way until the corporate powers that be took over the image and packaging of hip-hop. It was a movement. Like, you know, you look at fact, okay, when Melvin
But somebody's now controlling the movement, and people don't realize they control the movement in a negative way.
Hey, they are.
And there's no way in this life you can listen to negative music all day long and don't think it don't make you negative.
That's true. You're right.
When you go to exercise and you know you tired, what do you put on? Something pumping you up and something exciting, some Gap band, something got some drive in.
No game, right.
Finish your exercise. When you tired and you want to just chill out, you go and get you some jazz or something nice and quiet storm music to listen to mellow you out and go to sleep. Then why in the hell, if all you do is listen to negative, hit my mama, slap this bitch, so and so with a B, and you know everybody becomes the B word.
Right, that's true. Right.
Because that's all you hear, that's all you know. Black kids walk around looking so angry. Sometimes they scare me just the way they look.
I mean, Jesse Jackson had it right. You want to cross the street when you see a group of black guys sometimes. I mean, but it's the way the media
helps. Why should I be
scared
of my own people?
But the media helps portray that image, though, of the boogeyman.
But we buy into that image.
We do. But we don't
if
control
you know media is doing this to you, why are you going to go with it?
Because we don't control it. Like Bill Cosby talked about NBC that killed his son.
We don't control the media, but we control ourselves.
That's true.
Okay, I wear boots and cowboy clothes all the time because I'm a cowboy.
Right.
I love the West. I always have. I don't care. I know I live in Pasadena in the city, but I don't care. And I ride motorcycles, so those are my iron horses.
Right. I got you.
Get over it. They can't control me. You done manipulate and control your mind. This is a freer country than free thinking. Whatever happened to free thinking? We don't have it anymore. We follow the groups. We're not leaders. We're followers. And then we want to complain about the stuff that we have fallen into.
Yeah.
So you follow somebody else, and they say, why you need an iPhone?
Yeah.
Why you need to text and you stand across the room from each other? I was at a party. I saw some kids texting each other in the same room. How come you couldn't say, hey, how you doing, girl? No, you text.
We asocial, right? You so asocial now. Right.
Yeah, we don't even know how to talk to each other.
Yeah, you're right. I just talk about this today, man. I always talking about this. You're right. You
2 seconds are right across from me, and I'm going to text you. I just spent $5 to say, what's up? I could have said that for free.
Oh man, you on point, man. I can't. You should stand-up comedian, man.
Oh no, I'm a realist. I'm telling you, I'm a realist. I just tell it like it is.
You're right,
that
though.
means I'm crazy and nobody wants to believe me.
No,
at one point we were the classiest dressing people in the world. Black people could be poor and nobody knew we was poor.
That's true.
Because we always dress sharp and clean and neat.
Mm-hmm.
And we're the only people that don't like us. Everybody else like us because everybody else want to be like us.
That's true. But I mean, that's that poison, though. If this is how you look at all this negativity all the time. Like the ISIS papers. Like I tell people should be the ISIS papers. It tells you right there what it is.
Okay.
You know,
and more white kids buy rap and hip-hop than black kids because we can't afford it.
That's true. I mean,
most of them dress like us, wear their hats like us. They want to wear dreads and let their hair get matted. And everybody want to be us but us. We hate us. Everybody has tricked us to hating us, and we're some of the most precious resources on the planet, some of the smartest people on the planet, but we don't love ourselves.
That's true.
And we buy into it. And we think that we really are negative, evil, angry, and bitter. If you can get up every day and breathe, you need to be happy, because a lot of people ain't breathing.
That's true.
If you're over 18, you really need to be jumping for joy, because a lot of people ain't making it.
You're right. You are right.
And people just don't get it. There's a murder case that just happened out here in the newspaper. 180 women that had been murdered by this grim sleeper. And he was a black guy. But guess what? Nobody didn't care. Because he wasn't killing number black women. As long as it's black-on-black crime, don't nobody care. If he'd killed one white woman, that case would have been solved. Not that I wished he'd killed a white woman, I'm saying, but if he'd killed one, that case would have been solved. As long as it's black-on-black crime, people don't care. And we haven't got it yet. I was at work in the restroom and I heard a lady screaming, and I'm in the toilet. All of a sudden, I said, I'm thinking this is like somebody's cell phone had a screaming thing on their cell phone, because people have all kind of ringtones.
Right.
But man, I had turned and looked out the window, and there was a man that jumped out of the car and was beating this woman.
Oh, God.
And I dialed 911, and they had the nerve to ask me, what race are they?
What they got to do with it?
That's exactly what I said.
Oh, my God. Wow.
But unfortunately, I described it was an African-American woman, and I promise you, by the time I finished in the restroom, went downstairs, nobody still had come, and that lady had walked herself to Kaiser Hospital. And when I went and packed my things from work, because I couldn't get out there anyway to help her because I'm on the second floor, just happened to be, like I said, just happened to hear the screaming. And by the time a police car did come, it had to been over 30 minutes later when I saw one drive by.
Oh, man, wow.
So nothing's changed. And if nothing is changing, then we have to change. Because I don't know what people are waiting on. You can't wait on other people to change you. Because it ain't bothering them. It don't bother them how you live and what goes on in your world. If you don't go to school and don't get education, they don't care. Because that's just you. If you go to jail, they don't care. That ain't them. That ain't in their household. Don't affect their income or their way they live. It's not their problem. So as long as it remains your problem, they don't care. I always tell the people the best way to stop gang warfare is insurance. If you insure every little black child, I guarantee you there won't be no gang violence and nobody get killed. Because the insurance companies run this country.
Yeah, you're right.
If they got to pay $10,000, $50,000 for every little black kid to get shot, it'll be a recreation center in every neighborhood, basketball court, baseball will come back. You will have more black baseball players than Cubans, okay? Right now you don't have but a handful of real black players. Most of them are from some other country.
That's true. They don't want to be black. They already understand the score. You're right.
Okay? People don't even understand the NBA. As many brothers as you know in the NBA, how come we got to go to all these foreign countries to bring somebody over here that can't play ball as good as brothers we know, but because they the best person from Yugoslavia or Germany that they can find just to add it up to keep a little color in there?
That's true.
And we don't even notice that's what's going on.
But you touch on so many. I mean, you just got so much wisdom and insight. Like I just want to.
But how come I'm the only person to see this?
No, you got.
Then everybody gonna say I'm a racist. You're a racist. I'm not no racist.
You no racist. You can't be no racist. You're
I'm a realist.
You're right.
I see what I see. If I didn't see it, I couldn't tell you about it.
That's true.
I didn't put Dirk Nowitzki out there.
You sure did.
There's a bunch of 7-foot black, but I didn't put Pau Gasol out there.
Right, you're right.
But ain't nobody realized they took this Bynum kid who was, out of high school and messed up his whole life because he sat on the bench for, 2 or 3 years and didn't do nothing when he could have been in a 4-year college getting an education. Because now his knees are messed up. Now when he gets through, they're going to have to shoot that steer and put him out to pasture, and he has no education, so he won't keep none of his money. But if he'd have had 4 years of college, he'd have really learned the structure of the game of basketball. To utilize his skills to his fullest. That's why Kareem lasted so long.
He was a very well educated brother, though. I mean,
educated brother. Played. He was old as dust. Was great at the Last Supper, and still could play basketball.
He did that Skyhook saved his career, though.
He had an arsenal. He had an arsenal of shots. Shaquille was just big.
Right.
People forget Chocolate Thunder. Daryl Dawkins was dunking and breaking backboard before Shaquille O'Neal ever came around.
Yeah.
Let them stay in school, educate themselves, and once the game is over, they got something to do. And they can still survive and keep on living.
There's like Lorenzen Wright, though, who got killed here, and they still don't know who did it, quote unquote. He made $55 million in a day. He had nothing to show for it then. Had no houses or nothing.
Well, if you don't educate people on how to keep their money, half the NBA, half the football players, they say 5 years after they retire, they broke.
Yeah.
Because they act like it's going to last forever. And nothing lasts forever.
That's true.
And people only love you when you're on top. When you're on the bottom, they don't love you anymore, okay?
Right.
When I came home to Memphis, my sister was very ill back in 93. She had muscle sclerosis, and I have to leave California to come help take care of her. I couldn't even find a job, and I know everybody in that city.
Yeah, they had to know you. I mean, you made it.
I know them, and they know me, and nobody would give me a job. Okay? I ended up working at a daycare center. That lady, unfortunately, she was fortunate and unfortunate. Fortunate for me because I love children. I got a job, but she was a crook. But I worked at a daycare. And then I ended up working in Tunica as a blackjack dealer. Oh,
wow. Did people recognize that you did you play Harpo?
All the time.
They took photos of you. You should just put up a booth say.
I could have made more. Thank you. I think I made more money just from them taking pictures of me in the casino.
Right.
But it's a shame when you grow up somewhere and you still have to go through that kind of hassle. But everybody, I guess they feel, well, you in California, you made so much money, you don't need no money here. Everybody got to work.
Yeah.
If you got money, you got to keep making more money. That's why you go broke. If you're spending money and nothing, everything going out, nothing coming in, what does that equal?
I mean, you broke. I mean,
that's
you
zero.
Sorry, zero.
That's basic math. That's first grade math. We don't get it. But so that's how people do, you know.
But you think you feel like it was a personal slight against you, or you think that's just the nature of human beings in general?
I think it's the nature of human beings, unfortunately, but it's sad. They don't make it any better. Well, I tell you this, I've had a parade in Mississippi. I was in Mississippi, I think it was Cleveland, Mississippi, that gave me a parade one year after Color Purple. I never had a parade in Memphis. I barely got the newspaper in Memphis. There's some guy that was on a sitcom show or something, and I think he got the front cover of the entertainment, and I got the inside small cover.
So Larry Rowley, was it him or was somebody else?
No, it wasn't Larry. No, it was a white guy.
Okay.
I knew Larry. It was a white guy that was doing it was a kind of chubby white guy that was on some sitcom, and I think I had done Color Purple. I was on the inside, he was on the outside.
Right. That's crazy, man. But that's
what we do, though. But then I'm in Cleveland, Mississippi, and I get a parade. I'm driving down the street. The guy had picked me up in this limo. I think I was going to have a big thing at the library. But I noticed all these trucks were pulling off the highway. And I said, what is that? Somebody must have died, because in Mississippi, when people die, they pull off the road. And it was a white guy that was driving. He said, no, Mr. Pugh, this is for you.
Wow.
All I could do was sit in that car and cry. Because in my granddaddy's lifetime, I once saved a white lady who was on fire, and they tried to arrest me. So to see these people, white, black, pulling over in their trucks and cars for me coming down the highway because they're going to start this parade for me in Mississippi, and everybody know all the hell we had in Mississippi.
Oh, yeah, it's good kids.
Of all places. Mississippi been rough on the black people.
Right, you're right.
I said my granddaddy rolled over his grave. But in my hometown, I never even got a key to the city. I got a key to every city in this state, except for Tennessee.
Wow, a prophet always without honor, as they say. That's so true.
Hey, that Bible tell you that if you read it. But they say you want to keep a secret from a black man, put it in the book.
That's true. I go to the library today. Ain't nobody checking out books. They're on YouTube and stuff. They're on the computer, on Twitter and stuff.
There you go. That's it.
And I check out those books and read it.
But that's how we stay in the dark. Because the answers are right there if you read them.
That's true. But I want to touch upon this. Like, I remember Melvin. I love this movie called Sweetback Badass Song with Melvin Van Peebles did.
Okay.
Somebody made a great insight. They said they took the revolutionary and Sweetback and turned them to a pimp called Superfly. And they used a black guy to do it. I mean, they used Gordon Parks' son to direct that movie, Superfly. But they took a revolutionary character that could have been used to empower the community, and they turned him into a pimp.
And that's true, and it actually hurt the community because I had a friend that told me he went and saw Superfly, and he never worked another day from that day.
That's crazy, but it's not realistic. How many black guys are going to walk away at the end? That's crazy. He went to pimping after he saw that movie. He said he never going to work another day. He became a pimp. And what happened
because, again, they show you what media do to people.
Mm.
That's the power of the media.
We don't control it,
this guy can do this and have a car like this and do what he's doing, and they don't realize when you're pimping your own sisters and brothers and mothers and your own people.
That's true.
And we still do it now, just in a different way.
Yeah, we do it, though. I mean, you're right about that.
It ain't changed.
Right,
you got a record deal and they don't want to pay you, the record company making all the money, but you the artist. What's this pimping?
Yeah, it is.
Back in the day with Stax Records, God rest some of their souls, but I remember they gave them a house and a Cadillac for a lot of them artists.
Yeah, so I know some of the musicians, they still haven't got paid. They took care of a few, but they left everybody else mostly out of the dark, like you said.
They get that house and they Cadillac, and then you know you got to still pay taxes on your house.
Yeah.
How you going to pay taxes if you ain't got no money?
That's true.
So you end up losing your car, losing your house, because the old Cadillac get old.
Right, it depreciates, right, exactly.
But then again, when you don't educate yourself, you sell your publishing, you give all your rights away, everybody else made a profit but you. And if you see these vicious cycles, then somewhere along the line, we have to learn to change the game.
That's true. What about Tyler Perry then? He changed the game in terms of ownership of his property. He got his studio. I mean, why?
But he's done nothing for us. That hasn't helped us at all. That's Tyler got his. He don't pay nobody. Tyler doesn't pay anybody. Spike don't pay anybody. Oprah don't pay anybody. They're pimps too. They're just black pimps. They're new modern day pimps. If you're not paying me, you pimping me.
That's true. I can't.
If I go to my job, I get paid every day when I go to my job for doing my the work that I do. I get paid. I get a check every month. So why do you think that they can't pimp me? And then don't talk about what white people do to me when you as a black person do me worse than any white person. At least white people pay me to do what they do to me.
Yeah.
Because I can't use that word on the radio.
Right, no, but you fine.
But you know where I'm going with it.
Yeah, but you tell the truth though. But I'm saying so you saying
that doesn't make it right. Tyler signed a deal with $200 million, and then he's in Atlanta, which is a right to work state. I'm a union actor. That means I get a certain amount of money when I do certain things. Anytime you use my likeness, you have to pay me for it, unless I waive that and give you permission to do that.
Right.
And they don't want to pay you. I just finished doing the 25-year anniversary for Oprah. She didn't want to pay us.
She didn't pay nobody? She didn't pay y'all?
Well, we got paid. When I got through, we all got paid. At least the 5 of us did.
Y'all, they called you.
Because I told them I had already negotiated before I left it that we use a after contract.
Mm-hmm.
I told my agent before they ever called me, I work on the after contract. I pay to the union. I get a pension and a retirement from AFTRA and SAG. That means if I don't put any money in the pension and retirement, I don't get anything out of it.
It makes sense.
I took basic math. Algebra was hard on me, but basic math, I kicked butt and took names.
Right. Was Oprah, like, how did Oprah respond? I mean, like, was she cool with you?
Well, honestly, we never talked before the show. And we didn't talk after the show until she called me the day before Thanksgiving to apologize that she did not talk to us before or after the show.
She knew what she was
doing.
doing.
If you haven't seen people in 25 years,
right.
I thought we'd have had dinner, we'd have went to lunch, we got there early, chit-chat. It was in and out, quick horse and pony show as far as I'm concerned.
But all actually did, like, what was the deal between her and Whoopi, though? That's kind of crazy. I mean, I didn't know it extended to that type of fit, but like something happened between them on the set?
No, it wasn't from The Color Purple, I don't think.
Okay,
I think it was from their Legends Ball when she didn't get invited because Whoopi's the only person. Well, there's only 2 people that I knew of that had won Emmy, Tony,
right.
a Grammy, and an Oscar, and Whoopi's one of the 2. I think the other one's somebody that's white, and I can't even remember their name.
Right,
and,
but that's something.
to have a Legends Ball and that legend don't get there, whether you like it or not. That's legendable.
Right.
and you invite other artists who are not even at that level, and you do know the person. And you got to realize in Whoopi's career, she's a comedian. When comedians say things, some things may be true, may be hurtful, whatever, but guess what? They're comedians. They're comics. That's what they do. That's how they make their living. And yes, she's taken shots at Oprah over the years, but who ain't?
That's true.
When you do what you do, you give people an opportunity to take a shot at you.
Yeah, y'all
Purple has got me more shots by comedians. Everywhere I go, somebody talking about beat me up. I had a woman beat me in every club. Robin Harris used to do it every time I go. I think the first time Mike Tyson hit me in a club one night because of Robin Harris talking about Harpo getting beat, and then Mike Tyson realized that I was Harpo sitting across from me, and he just hauled off and hit me.
He hit you hard, or he hit you like crazy?
Mike can't hit soft. Mike don't know soft.
He sued Mike Tyson. Did he sue him? That's crazy.
Mike don't know soft, okay? And he up there laughing.
Did he hit you like he was mad at you for real?
Well, he can't hit soft, and I hit him back. And then everybody looked like, you hit Mike Tyson back? I didn't know it was Mike when he first hit me. I didn't know it was Mike that I already hit him back. But it's a little bit late then.
Oh, my God. Oh, wow. That's
why you got to stay prayed up, brother.
I heard that.
He didn't knock me out. He didn't beat me down.
That's amazing, man. You got so many stories. Like, you're right, though. I just think that, but I'm saying, like, why is it like the NBA, like, I applaud LeBron for taking this step of trying to, speak his mind and do what he had to do for himself, but why is it that we got so many black millionaires? Halle Berry should be complaining about acting roles. We should have a studio where all these black actors pull their resources together. It should be no complaint.
Well, you don't see Tyler got a studio. Is he making a movie with Halle?
I mean, he making a movie with everybody else, not with Halle.
He ain't going to pay Halle. That's why he ain't got Halle Berry there.
So that's the key, Walter. But
we don't want to pay anybody. We want free labor. We want to make all the money, make all the profit, and don't pay people.
Well, what the Color Girl movie? He had like an all-star cast, right? I mean, he paid them something, right?
The Color Girl movie? Keyword, something. You said the keyword, he paid them something. You answered your own question.
But he's no better than the founders of Hollywood, if you're telling me that. He's like
that's what I'm telling you. It is no better than regular Hollywood. I tell you, when I saw the contract that Oprah's people gave me, I was insulted, offended, and I have never been hurt so bad in my life.
Wow.
And I'd let the producers at the show know I've never been so offended in my life. And for me, like I said, she called me the day before Thanksgiving, and the only reason I think she called me was to do damage control because she didn't talk to us before the show, and she didn't talk to us after the show. I've never been treated so horrible in my life.
How did other people feel about it? They feel the same
way I felt, at least the 5 that was with me. I don't know if, I know Ray Don did. I'm sure, well, I can't speak for Margaret, but it affected everybody that was there because nobody came to talk. Quincy ate dinner with us. Reuben Cannon had dinner with us. But we ate lunch over there across the way with Reuben. And I know she had another show to tape, but it seemed like you would schedule a little time where we either got together either afterwards or either we got there early and shot a little something to show everybody getting together again.
Well, why have the show you going to do it right there? I mean, why have it there?
It's just something to do probably because people kept asking, when are they going to have a 25-year anniversary?
That's
to me, we basically went through the motion. That's all it was for me, was going through the motion. I went for everybody else. I wasn't surprised.
I mean, it's
25 years for you to call in there because, hey, ain't none of us done nothing together in 25 years. And it ain't like she ain't done a bunch of things.
But she had a lot of resources that could have helped a lot of y'all. I mean, over the years.
You go answer your own questions again.
I just hope people do the right thing sometimes. I look at Eric Monty.
We all hope people do the right thing. And my thing is, if you're an actor, why should you have to ask somebody to let you work?
Especially if you're a great actor. I mean, you was great. You was great.
If you do what you do and people are supposed to respect your work, then why you have such a problem? Because people don't want to pay you. They don't want to pay you. And that's the bottom line. But I don't act for free. Acting is my job. That's what my career is.
Right, that's how you make a living.
Officer, that's my job. So guess what? I don't do that for free either.
Okay.
Unless that I would help people in my real life, so I get paid to help people, so my job doesn't feel like a job, because I would be doing it anyway.
Wow, so you see yourself, what would be like the thing you want to do? I know, like, any aspirations you have right now, like, you have like a bucket list of things that you like, this is what I have to do before I go. Like, this is what.
The only thing I really wanted to do was a Western. I think that's the biggest, movie-wise, that's the only thing I ever wanted to do was a Western. A really good shoot-'em-up Western. I love Westerns.
Mm-hmm. That would be the idea.
Black Rodeo.
You ride Black Rodeo? Really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, how was that experience?
Man, that was great. The Bill Pickett Rodeo. I used to go around and be the little grand opening guy that rides in the opening thing in the rodeo, so I enjoyed that. Did that for about 5 years.
Yeah, you got a very eclectic life. That's a well-lived life you got there, sir.
I can't complain at all. God has blessed me a lot to do all the things I've wanted to do. I've had a band for a while and did some music, and because I've always liked music, I wanted to be a singer first. But as they say, everybody black is singing, and at a certain period, if you ain't young enough, you're too old, you can't move your hips and do the certain pelvic just or whatever, you're too old. It ain't by your voice, because Milli Vanilli had the long hair and the braids, but they can lip sync, you know.
Right. Sometimes it's weird,
people
though.
Say they want real stuff, they don't.
But that's a double standard, because Mick Jagger can have a stroller and walk on stage, and they still selling out, stadiums and arenas. And we don't know about the history of our people, because I even look at baseball game. I went to a baseball game. I went past the stadium in St. Louis, the home of the Cardinals. You got white kids. They know who Lou Brock is. They 10 years old and 6 years. They know who Lou Brock is and Bob Gibson and Stan Musial. And it's like they folks take the time to learn, tell them about the tradition, about the history. And I look at Jam Master.
We don't talk about our history. We don't want to know. We think anything in the past is bad and it's negative, and we don't want to remember.
It's not. Right.
And that's why we keep making the same mistake. You will never have Jewish American people not go back over the Holocaust. I think they make a new Holocaust movie every year.
Yeah, also
just to remind themselves about the Holocaust, so they'll never go back through it again. We see a slavery movie, that old crap. We don't want to see that stuff. It's just taken back in the day. That's why we're in the situation that you're in now. Because most people don't know what their parents and their forefathers went through to get them the life that they live. Everybody didn't have a Lexus. Everybody didn't have a Range Rover or a Hummer or a Cadillac. It took a lot to get people to that level, and now we just act like it's no big thing, and that's why they don't have them long.
You're right about that.
There's old money and there's new money. Most of the black people now have new money. Most of the white people got old money. They keep having old money. We don't. Ours just came and went.
There's no reason. I talked to an elder from the Civil Rights Generation. I talked to them a lot. They said we messed up, bro. But y'all didn't know the forces that were conspiring against y'all. Y'all knew that the government was using things to disrupt what y'all trying to do for the community. I mean, it ain't all your fault, but at the same time, I look at a lot of people that have made it, quote unquote, from the movement. They didn't instill that sense of identity or a sense of
even when you come back, people don't want it anyway. I try to do programs in the community and back home and things, and people don't support them. They had that thing, Echoes of Truth. And to me, that was, again, another horse and pony show for the white citizens of Memphis, because the kids get out there and do a show that's about their real lives and struggle, and they put a horse and pony show, but then they don't do anything to follow up with those kids.
They're very
Once the programs are over, that's why I stopped doing it.
I agree with you. You are right on the money. That's why I said it was
They'll do a little something with them kids and make that show, but then what do they follow up with it?
Exactly.
When you going to follow up with school and get them into school and process this? Like when I was home this trip, I just came there from Thanksgiving. I saw two young brothers, and I got to call and actually check on them because hopefully they'll be in school in January. And this brother jumped up in the air so high. The goal ball went way over the goal. The guy missed, and he jumped up there and dunked that ball. I almost had a stroke. I said, who is that guy and where did he come from?
Right.
I said, and I bet you he don't go to school. And you know what? He didn't go to school. And as soon as they had a break on the game, I snatched him. I told him, go get that guy and bring him in here. And the guy snatched him in there and brought him in the office with me and a friend of mine, O.C. Lewis. And I had to ask that, but what do you do every day? And he don't do nothing. Ain't in school, ain't no enrolled anyway. And he got that kind of ability, he can get a full scholarship to go somewhere to do something.
That's true.
And I told him, anything I can do to help you, I'm willing to do that to help you. Because everybody ain't got that gift.
That's true.
So you might well utilize it to educate yourself and get you out of the hood and out of doing what you're doing now, which is nothing.
Oh, that's true. And
all I can do is hope and pray that they take up on it and they can get into Shelby State. And I know my friend Mr. Lewis called over there because he knew some coaches there. And I hope the kids follow through with it. And like I told them, anytime they need me, they can call. Just like you called me, your mother called me, and what happened?
I mean, we made it happen. I appreciate it.
Okay, I ain't seen your mama since high school.
To talk to you. I know this is like a Christmas present for me to actually talk to you. Because I've been
I knew her through school. She was always a good person to me. Guess what? She called me, and so dingo. That's how I roll.
Yeah, you're a great person, man. I don't have no problem with you at all. You know racism or like that at all.
So people don't give back. They don't do what they're supposed to do. Because to me, if you're a baseball player, basketball player, football player, you should have at least owned or built a recreation center in the community you grew up in. They got millions. They got to give away so much money anyway.
You know what they say, though?
And then when you finish, at least you can run it. You can work at your own community center.
That's true, but you know what they say? I had a show about the lack of black baseball players, and I had Josh Gibson's grandson on, and a guy who started Negro Leagues out in the West Coast in the Oakland area. And, I mean, it's on us because we lack the initiative because they keep on saying, well, Major League Baseball didn't do this and that. I said, Major League Baseball is the problem. It's the lack of will.
Major League Baseball don't need to do nothing.
It's us that need to be doing it. Right, exactly.
Don't you know these people don't give a hoot about you?
Exactly.
They never have and they never will.
Exactly.
Get over it. I go to Hamilton High School every time I go home.
Are you going to Hamilton every time? Wow.
Every time I come home, I go to Hamilton. I think one time I was there. I was there when they had just merged South Side with Hamilton.
Yeah, that's the problem right
there. And people were saying, people need to come back to the school and talk to the students. I'm in California, 2,000 miles away. I come home and people live there don't even go by the school.
That's right.
That's why I stopped going to class reunions. Why am I going to spend $200, $300, $600 to fly home and pay hotel or whatever while you're there, and then I go there and don't nobody come to the reunion, they live there?
That's all.
All they got to pay is $50.
You're right.
And they don't want to spend $50 to come to the reunion. I don't care what you're doing now. I'm just glad to see you alive.
Yeah.
It's pitiful. So that's why I don't come.
But, you know, they had Bill Gates there. I was there. They didn't want Bill Gates to talk to the kids. Or I don't know. Bill Gates didn't want to talk to the kids. I don't understand it. I wrote a letter about it, and I got a TV show I do. And people said, and people agree with what I said, but a lot of folks hate that. You point out the obvious. Because they was whispering, but I amplified. I said, look, I'm just going to say what it is.
Yeah, this is successful people that come out of Hamilton, and what are they doing?
That's true. They always talk how bad Hamilton is. A lot of them always talking about, oh, it's so bad. I said, these should be like, I used to tell them kids, this should be like the Germantown and the White Station. These should be like the pride of the school system. And now they're the lowest performing school in the state.
I don't understand that.
I don't understand it either.
I don't understand it. And nobody taps into the resources y'all got less local.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants to act because you're an actor or you're on TV, we can make all these changes. I can't change nobody's life. People change their life because they want to.
That's so true.
It got nothing to do with me. I get so sick of the guilt that people try to stick on me.
But you don't know what you're guilty about. You don't understand about. You're doing your part. You're doing what you can.
If you paid $15 or $10 to see that movie and you enjoyed it, I don't owe you nothing.
Right.
And people act like you owe the world. I made your career. Then you made me suffer and have to get a day job because you didn't support me.
Right.
Now, let's keep it real.
You are keeping it real. You're on point.
Because you'd have made my career. I wouldn't have to have another real job, okay? I'd just be acting. Because you won't write a letter. You won't say, well, where is he? How come he ain't in the movie? Why he's not doing this? We tell each other, oh, what you doing now? Living and breathing just like you. What you doing now?
I'm going to ask you this, what kept you from going the way of an E! True Hollywood story?
Well, I've always been grounded, and I had good parents and good extended family people. My godfather, who lived a couple of, my real godfather, who was just down the street, Mr. Johnson, that passed away, and his wife, and all the little old ladies on my street. Most of them are gone. Now I think Miss Dickey and my mom are the only two left on our block. But all the little old ladies that helped to raise me, Miss Sally, my first grade teacher, I still see her, Miss Akins. Your mother had Miss Akins, too, Dorothy Akins. She's still alive. And I go see her every time I go home. Miss Horn and Dr. Horn, he just passed away, I think, about a year ago now. But those people who were solid people who you watched their struggles and how they live their lives and maintain, and it helps to keep you grounded and just being blessed to observe real people. You know what I mean? And I watched how these people lived and did what they did and still survived and still maintained, still had a little money in their life and still doing well. You know, it's the choices that you make more than anything. You know, you ain't got to keep up with the Joneses, because the Joneses can't even keep up with the Joneses.
Not right now.
That again is the media.
Mm-hmm.
And you falling prey to those media traps. And you being what they tell you should be. Well, you're supposed to be a movie star. You're supposed to be in a mansion. Who said I'm supposed to be in a mansion? Who wrote that? Where's that printed somewhere? That's a requirement on the job application for movie star. All movie stars aren't in mansions. And just because you do a big movie or a couple of big movies don't make you a movie star. And black actors are not paid the same as white actors. A white actor can do a movie and get 3 times my salary. Do I think it's right? No. But guess what? That's how it rolls.
You know what's funny? When you say that, I was thinking about an article that came out almost 10 years ago when Chris Tucker was really on top. You know, he just got a chance to make a $20 million film club, and somebody asked him, was there any racism in Hollywood? He said, no, there's no racism in Hollywood. I said, yeah, you making $20 million a film. You're going to say, of course you're going to say no. Or Will Smith, after Obama got elected, he said that he don't believe that there was a lot of racism in America.
Racism is alive and well. And during this depression that we're in now, it's a recession or depression depending on who house you're in, okay?
It's a depression.
In most houses, it's a depression. And the only real difference is we have unemployment, we have disability, and those things now, and retirement and pension plans, those things are in place. Otherwise, you would have more people jumping out the windows and killing themselves, okay? But this is a depression. And nothing has changed. It brings up the worst in people. If you got a job and I don't, that makes me a racist, okay? Racism is at an all-time high.
It is.
If some white guy's laid off and you working as a brother, guess what? It's a racial situation now.
Yeah.
As long as we all working, everybody happy, there ain't no color issues. But if the black guy got a job and the white guy don't, or the Mexican got a job and the black guy don't, or the white guy don't, then racism comes in. This is my country. I was here first. I lived here. I should have a job before you. So when people say racism is, that's a lie. Racism's at an all-time high. And poor President Obama, I would never want to be him.
I mean, he's like a janitor right now.
He took the wrong job at the wrong time.
Yeah, but it's like,
guess what? People ain't even realized again. He came in and took over for white America's worst mess, which was George Bush, and then and the brother gets the blame.
Hey, the movies prepared us for that. Anytime there's a black president, there's always some hell going on.
Well, you did 24.
Yeah,
the television show 24. All this was prepping for the president to be black. Okay,
that's what I'm saying.
But nobody saw it. I saw it, but nobody else saw it. And now he may go down in history as the worst president since what was the one they did? Jimmy Carter. And you know they hated old Jimmy. And Jimmy was one of the best presidents we ever had because Jimmy kept it real.
He told the truth too much. He told the truth too much.
He told the truth too much, and they didn't like it. Okay.
Nobody likes the you know what I'm saying, like you said, nobody likes when a person tells it like it is.
But black people just happy that a black man is president.
No,
I have a video company, and I was out shooting video at a party one night when Obama became president. And the stupid stuff I heard on that tape is just, when I got home to edit it, I was just sick to my stomach. Man, I got a job now. Man, I'm going to be working. We got a black president. Oh, things are going to change. Brother, I'm going to go to work next week. Some of the people still ain't working. He ain't Jesus.
I know. They know it now. They know it now.
Okay? Now everybody mad. How come he ain't got unemployment down? How come he ain't done this? Actually, he's done a lot for being in the office, but my biggest issue, he doesn't deal with issues of racism and color, and I'm sorry, the country still run that way. He tries to make it everybody as our problem. No, it's black people got problems, white people got problems. Everybody got their own group problems.
Mm-hmm.
And he doesn't deal with any of those kind of things. And no black man comes out of nowhere, because to me, he came almost out of obscurity. I hadn't heard a lot of him. And he was the president without somebody white wanting you to be there.
But it was like, think about it. It was just 6 years ago. I first heard about him when he did that speech at the convention. I remember where I was at when I heard he do this speech in 2004. And like
they saw where the country's going, and they said, well, we need a brother to take the bite for this one. And guess what? Groom him up, get him in there, let him win, and now he can suffer this. When I saw McCain running, I already knew it was a setup. Okay? When they put the oldest crippled white guy they had and had him running for president, and the dumbest white woman they could find, Sarah Palin, I knew then that we had a problem.
So you think it was already...
Sarah didn't even know where Alaska was.
Mm.
And I said, if this brother don't win, this should be a shoe-in. They made sure he was guaranteed to win.
We saw that false...
the Republicans didn't even find their best candidate. They didn't even put their best candidate. We don't even want to waste our best candidates on this. Let the black man come in, do like he did in Vietnam and Civil War, clean up the mess, and then we'll take back over and get the ship running again.
But you see how they think, they're false. Like, I stopped looking at cable news because the bull crap they be pulling with the divide and conquer, that false rage they were stoking about, the delegates. Who the hell, nobody know what the hell the delegates was until 2008.
And Fox is the worst.
Delegates.
If racism ain't alive, what is the Fox Network?
I mean, it's a Gestapo. It's a Nazi. I mean, look at the fact that Rupert Murdoch controls 95% of our media. And he's from the prison colony.
And black people believe everything they see.
That's why I had to turn off that tube, man. I had to turn it off, man.
All they do. That's why they used to call it the idiot box.
And it's true. It is true.
You forget that it was the idiot box because it made people stupid. We started believing everything we saw on television. But you got to realize this stuff is already made and catered and addressed to make you think and believe what they make you think and believe.
And that was dangerous, but I
have regular TV. I don't even have HD. And I'm seeing the same picture you see. Mm-hmm. Only difference, you're going to waste a whole bunch of money on your HD. Because now as I get older, I wear glasses. I got bifocals and HD, ED. Ain't gonna matter to me. 3D ain't gonna matter. Okay?
I heard that.
So what I need a better, clear picture of my eyes is going.
That's true.
People don't even get it. It's marketing. It's money making. We're idiots. We idiots. We just get caught up in the dumbest stuff and it don't even make sense. It's sad. One day we gotta wake up. But when, I don't know. And it may not be in my lifetime, so I can't even worry about it. I just worry about me now. I can't save the world.
I mean, but you are saving the world by being you, though. I mean, you are making a difference. Being who you are, you're, like, exposing people to things. I mean, where you at, I mean, you are making a difference in your way.
Well, I try, but believe it or not, people don't like to hear the truth. I had a gentleman call me the other day, and I think he saw me on Oprah, and I think he thought because I was on Oprah, now I got to hook up directly for her, and some projects that he wanted to make is going to happen. And I had to tell him the truth of what happened, and he was just crushed. Because she's black and I'm black does not mean she's going to help me. It don't mean she's going to help him. It don't mean she's going to move his project. And I told him straight.
You're right.
And,
and
that dude was crushed.
But there's a lot of black folks that are crazy about Oprah. She had to go to South Africa. Come on, the kids over here I messed up. She helped contribute to the problem of materialism.
Thank you. And then if them kids were so broke, why they got iPhones and cell phones? See, that threw me for a loop. If they were so broken, you need to put a school over there for them. How they got phones in the school?
But kids get...
And they got so many problems that they got to call on the teachers.
Exactly.
The head master became a molester because they needed a phone to call. Is that bad in school? We went to school every day without a phone. They didn't have no problem. Whatever happened to going to the principal's office, just tell them we got a problem. That's what we used to do.
Sometimes you can't find a principal, though. A lot of times a principal coming to school will be drinking. I mean,
okay.
It's that bad. But you got teachers that come to the classroom. They want to teach sex education, but they're supposed to be teaching algebra or geometry. And that is a problem.
I never got that. I know we say we're African, but I live in America, and I believe charity starts at home first.
Yeah.
We take care of home first, and then we can do other things.
But you got young parents, though. I won't say I say young breeders. I don't think they could be parents. They don't got the skills.
They're not parents. Please don't use that word. Don't put the P word on them because they're not parents.
Saying, but you can't correct nothing like
they just had a baby.
If you don't got the parenting skills, you can't do too much of anything.
And people don't realize our most precious resource are children.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the thing we care the least about and take hold up as any value. Because anybody and everybody can have a baby.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't care. We know they're not ready.
Right.
That you don't realize you could be having the guy that could cure cancer, the guy that could save the world, and you don't know where he comes from, out of what person he's going to come out of. That's why it's such a precious thing to have a child. But now it's just something people do for recreation. And that's why I have so many on my day job is probation, because people just having babies. It's babies having babies.
Mm-hmm.
The blind leading the blind. And some people say they're having a baby because they want somebody to love them. How can you love somebody when you don't even know what love is and you have never been loved? Every now and then some single parents do come through and have some great kids. I met a lady the other day, and she has 2 boys.
Mm-hmm.
I think she might have been married, but her husband died or something. But as a single mother, she raised 2 of the best young men I have ever seen. These just 2 great kids. Mm-hmm. And But that's just a miracle. Those are miracle cases. That's not the norm.
Right, it's not the norm.
That's not the norm. And so when we perpetuate, I know they used to send people away, and they say they're going to stay with their aunt for the summer till the baby's born. I actually used to like that program.
I mean, yeah,
now we act like it's a trophy to have a baby, and that's not a trophy, because you're becoming a breeder, and you're just making more trouble, and more people are going to prison and to jail because your environment makes you who you are. I was taking a class not long ago, and they had this big-time psychology lady who was telling us that economics has nothing to do with crime. Now, how could that be?
Yeah.
I said, so this is what happened.
Mm-hmm.
My mama's sick. I go into Walgreens, and they got all them aspirin in there. My mama needs some aspirin. Now, I go over there, and I ask the man, excuse me, sir, my mama's sick. Can I get some aspirin? And he tell me no. All I know, my mama's sick, and my mama's all I got. I see about 30,000 boxes of aspirin in there. I steal a box of aspirin, take it home to my mama, and she gets better. I may go to church Sunday and pray about it. Does that make me a criminal?
No, I don't think so.
Necessity has forced me to do something that I asked you first, and you told me no.
Right.
But she said, no, you got a criminogenic gene. And you need to take this class over because you're not getting it. So when we went to lunch, it was a bunch of SWAT guys in there. So I went over to them. It was SWAT guys and girls. And I said, excuse me, I'm with the L.A. County Probation Department. And we had a class today. They told me I need to take it over, but I want to make sure. They said that crime has nothing to do with, your income level or poverty has nothing to do with crime. And all of them unanimously said, oh, no, that's half of the things the reason people do what they do. So are all those guys crazy? And the lady said, well, they don't know what they're talking about.
They SWAT people, though. They police officers.
That's what they do every day.
Right.
They deal with crime every day. So if we don't understand the root of our problem, how are we ever going to fix the problem? And
That's
most
true.
people don't understand the root, don't want to understand the root, and don't want to see it. Because poverty, lack of education is the beginning of the problem. You having another baby that's uneducated is not going to change anything. Oh, you think that baby going to grow up to be a rapper and get you out the ghetto?
No.
Half of the rappers that are rapping ain't even ghetto people. There are a few of them that come up that are ghetto folks, but most of them went to school. Puff Daddy went to school.
Right.
I think Jay-Z may be the only real one that didn't do something that has become a really wealthy guy. Him and
high school, yeah, he did. But I also got a college degree, so I mean, these folks are false images.
And most of them, it's an image that they buy into.
And some of them are pretty good parents, too, though. They don't let their kids listen to this stuff.
Their kids don't listen to the crap that they say.
Know what I'm saying?
It's like a dope dealer don't do his own dope, okay? He said, this is a business.
It is. But, you know, you're right on point on everything. Now, I have to say that it is on point because a lot of these schools are able kids. Sometimes you go to high school like a daycare.
Thank you.
And folks,
And all them folks, they send their kids to private school.
Right.
I guarantee you Puff Daddy's kids ain't in regular school. And it ain't just because they're rich. He want them to get the best education. He want them to have the best of the best.
But you're right about our kids, though, because I know I was in a forum meeting. I said, we don't complain about the Pentagon misappropriating money, trillions of dollars unaccounted for. But if you say we're going to have to spend $10,000 per child in a city school system, all y'all raise all types of hell.
That's true.
We drop bombs all day on poor people around the world and disadvantaged folk, but when it comes time to educate our own, I don't understand how people let their kids go to the military. I say, look, you with all this effort to give your kid a certain quality of life, to give them the best schools, and yet you let them sign their lives over to become government property and collateral damage and claim pensions. Because they lie about how the way Pat Tillman got killed, they'll lie to you how your kid got killed. Because I talked to a couple of people that were military families, and they found out they were lied to by the government. You know,
the government been lying since the beginning of the time. Ain't nothing ever changed.
Nothing never changed. No, I'm saying, but also with politics, though, with Obama thing, folks getting frustrated. I said, who said the answer lied in politicians? Whoever said the ultimate answer, like you said, the root answer lied in the politics or the political system? No,
the root answer lies in the people, but the people don't unify themselves and get together to do anything.
That's what I'm saying.
Back in the day, if there was a problem at the school, your parents came to the school, dealt with the teachers, dealt with the principal, and they worked on the problem together. Now the parent only comes up there to talk about the teacher, talk about the principal, and the parent ain't doing no parenting. If you could ever get little old Joy to sit down, or Pookie, or Ray Ray to sit their butt down so he could teach us, he would learn something.
That's true.
But that's not the teacher's job to do that. The teacher's job is to teach.
That's true, but you know what's funny, though? Not funny, but like I told, I had a channel, Farrakhan came into Memphis, he had a lot of these people like Harris and all of them get in this one room. I was invited into a pre-meeting of the thing he was going to do on that Sunday. And I told him, I said, you know what, I think what we should do is before these kids graduate, we should make it a curriculum that they learn the history of the community of their school, because every time I go into a city school like a Hamilton or Booker T. Washington and talk about the history of the community or the history of their school, they are amazed. They say, why nobody never tell us about this? I might look at things differently. You know, I might see myself differently come out of Foot Homes or whatever.
Trust me, because Harvard and Yale and every other school does. They pride themselves on the history and the background of their school. That's why everybody want to go there.
That's so true. You're right.
High schools are the same way.
Mm-hmm.
Christian Brothers High School, there's a history behind Christian Brothers High School. Reading people sending their kids over there. There's a history behind Catholic. The reason people went to Catholic.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody pushes history behind Hamilton and Booker T and the other schools.
It's amazing history, though. I mean,
it's amazing history.
You're part of it.
And it should be a requirement. And people should always reinforce it. It's an honor to get to go to some of the schools they get to go to.
That's true.
Because the people who went here before you. That should put pride in you right there.
But also talk about the alumni or lack of involvement of some of the alumni who actually, quote-unquote, made it, who actually in the city.
And that's a lack, because people don't target those people.
Mm-hmm.
They don't. They only target them for some money, and they need to be targeting them for some help. Everything ain't about money.
That's true. A lot of kids say the same thing you just said.
And people need to see the person. And when you can see a person and make it a tangible object that they can touch, it actually a lot of times has more effect.
That's true.
I have met people and they've seen me in person, and years later they'll tell me, man, that day you talked to me, or that day you spoke to me, or that day you did such and such, changed my life forever. I ain't give them a penny. But something I did or said that inspired them so much that it made them go out and realize, because in this world ain't nobody giving you nothing no way. Anything you want, you got to earn it. And if I give you a car today, guess what? You're gonna let everybody ride in it, touch it, mess it up.
Right.
If you got to work for it, I guarantee you polishing it and ain't nobody leaning on it.
Right, that's true.
And you ain't paying $500 for that bucket. I gave you a $5,000 car.
You're right. You tell the truth why I made a fuss about the Bill Gates thing. It's not just because, because these kids don't see no guy like that every day in the school system. A friend of mine told me that Mary McLeod Bethune spoke at the joint graduation for Hamilton and Manassas back in 1946 at Mason Temple.
Look at
a lot of people don't even know about their history.
Sure don't. I tell you, one year they used to have a thing, what is it called? Y'all had some kind of tours. It was a black tour. I can't remember the name of it now.
I know you're talking about. Okay.
They gave a tour of the city. And I never knew we had those tunnels of the Underground Railroad in Memphis.
Right. Exactly.
And then I took that Heritage Tours. That's the name of it. And I took those Heritage Tours and got to go in them tunnels and them caves. And I tell you, it's just something about knowing a person got in them holes as small as they were, and they went in there for days sometimes. And me, I couldn't hardly stand that thing 10 minutes. It drove me crazy. And you figure people had to come all the way across the country crawling through these things to get to where they are for us to have the freedoms that we have, and we don't even appreciate it, and we don't take advantage of it, and we don't try to better ourselves like somebody owe you something.
That's so true.
Don't nobody owe you nothing. Ain't nobody ever going to give you nothing. Whatever you want in this life, you got to make it for yourself. Everybody wait for a handout. It ain't one.
That's so true.
Welfare was a thing to help us start to begin to get up and not to stay on it forever. But after a while, people learn to not work, become displaced, and just don't want to do anything. And now they don't ever want to work. When you get used to not doing nothing, you don't ever want to do nothing because you ain't never had to do nothing. Then all of a sudden somebody asks you to do something. Man, what are you talking about? I ain't had to do nothing for 20 years. Now you talking about do something?
You know what? That's a problem that I run in Memphis though. Like people, they talking about the way things are, and the reason why the way the things are the way they are is because people don't want to do anything. Or step out.
People don't want to do nothing.
Right.
Cut your grass. That's all I'm asking you to do. Just cut your grass.
They don't want to do that, though.
They don't want to cut their grass.
That's a new tradition. That's another tradition.
Just plant some flowers. Just paint your house.
Right. You're right.
Just take out your garbage and don't throw it all over your lawn.
But people don't understand that the same folks that don't want to do that, they keep on saying, I'm moving away because these folks ain't no good. I said, the ghetto only exists in your mind. Because, why is they knock down a project and they turn them to condominiums the next year? Why is there such real estate property value now? It was always good property value.
It was valuable when you had it, but you didn't do nothing with it. You didn't take care of it.
Exactly. But you move and the crime rate increases in the area that was down in.
And it amazed me. Every time I come to Memphis, I looked up and I saw some condos. I said, man, it used to be a project. And one of my friends who was not from Memphis said, what? That was a beautiful condo. I never seen projects like that. I said, they got their condos now. They used to be projects. We don't get it.
Right, that's so true.
Even in my old neighborhood, it looked like a gap-toothed man. They'd have knocked down so many houses. If nobody comes back, they let the property fall apart and get down, and I guarantee they're going to come in there and rebuild and bring it all back up again.
They are doing it because they're reclaiming Bellevue. They're reclaiming all of Elvis Presley now. They are taking it back. You're right.
And we got the best properties and don't take care of it. We waiting on somebody else to come in there and fix it. Ain't nobody coming in there to fix it.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you are on point. How can people argue what you're saying because it's so true? And so
people don't want to know the truth. They want to know a lie.
I guess that's true. You fight wars on lies and rumors of war. You know what? But it'll have to come a time when things are getting so ahead. I really have hope that things are going to turn around because things are getting so extreme. You got to have a balance.
Well, it won't turn around until people decide they want it to turn around.
I think it's coming,
an individual choice. It got to be one person at a time making a choice to make an effort, and that's all you can do. Because ain't no one. This leaders, the days of the Jesse Jack. Well, I don't want to say Jesse Jackson because Jesse ain't got it together either. I'm sorry. We pimp our leaders pimp us, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Our leaders pimp us. He was talking to Clinton about his baby situation, and he ends up with a baby. Okay, you got to lead by example. Okay, people do what you do, not what you say.
Mm-hmm.
And unfortunately, those people aren't leaders. And nobody's perfect. I'm not perfect either. But I'm not trying to be the leader either.
But you know what? When I hear Farrakhan speak, I make these observations. I say, why is it that the brother on the street corner selling the apples in the newspapers when the newly arrived immigrant owns the gas station and the grocery store behind him?
Thank you.
I don't understand how you come out doing this and you can't create no opportunities for your people.
I haven't seen him. I mean, I know Farrakhan, they say he's so positive, but bean pies and newspapers, they sell that many bean pies and newspapers?
No, that's right. They should be like the Girl Scouts, man. They should be out selling them and cookies.
I'm saying, they way out there. The Girl Scouts been around forever.
Yeah, right.
How come they not in the grocery stores now?
That's true.
They should have them bean pies in grocery stores as big as they are.
It made me wonder about some stuff, though. It's kind of weird, though. Because me and Man Mars was a missed opportunity because all them guys, we good at
and how come so many of the Mars that went bankrupt and they lost most of the Mars if they're doing so much?
That's true. That's
and why everybody got to wait to go to prison to become a Muslim?
That's a good question.
Ever notice that? Everybody go to prison and I want to be a Muslim.
But I also noticed, too, that Farrakhan never been to jail. I mean, even Dr. King went to jail every now and then. He never been to jail.
I don't get it. You know, everybody gets a hustle.
Yeah,
that's what I say. Everybody finds their hustle and they hustle us. And the biggest thing is all our hustles are black people hustling other black people.
But you know
what? We cannot say what white America do to us when we let our own people do worse to us than white America ever have.
That's
and
true.
If want to make a little bit of money or get bought out or sell their soul to the devil to get ahead, and they're doing okay, they forget about the rest of us. The struggle is over. All of a sudden, don't worry about this. I'm going to take care of it, and they never take care of it.
Like
what is Operation Push ever pushed? But Jesse.
You call it like it is. I mean, I even look at faith-based initiatives. That's FBI. That's COINTELPRO.
Thank you. At one point, they were giving out all these money to these different churches,
right?
And then once they got the grant money, it was okay because they were getting government money. But my thing on churches are supposed to be, if you go by what the Bible said and reading they are tax, and the government don't let them pay taxes, it's because they're supposed to take care of the sick and the poor and the poverty people, and most of them do not. If you worry about what's going on, you got all these mega churches, and now a lot of them going under and folding. If you're supposed to be in the likeness of Christ and he rode a mule, how come y'all got to have a Rolls Royce?
That's true.
And got to have a lead jet.
You right? You don't point,
and if you need a private jet, who trying to kill you? You're a preacher. You got more security than anybody because you're secured by God himself. That's surrounding you 24/7. That's better than the FBI and the CIA.
Supposedly, you're right. You're right.
And then you worry about where your children are. If you got a church and it's only open on Sunday, you might have one meeting during the week. And you got a big old edifice that nobody goes to. One, they should have it opened up where they got some kind of recreation place there for the kids. Then on Friday night and Saturday, they can come to the church and watch movies. And you program what they see because you the one picked the movie. At least if I got to pay movie now, movie's what, $18 almost.
Right.
Depending on where you live. I'd rather pay $5 to my church and get the money back to the church I go to and watch the movie with the kids and see the movie and choose what we see and then have a discussion after the movie.
That's true. That makes a lot of sense to me.
And you can control what our kids are getting and at least help them to understand it because most people don't even understand what they see. They just see it. They don't understand it.
That's true.
We see war, but we don't understand the war because why am I killing somebody I don't know? And that man ain't done nothing to me. When I get in the fight, most of them I'm fighting somebody I got a problem with.
Exactly.
And they have personally done something to me. I'm just not fighting a random person. So we need to sit down and explain this stuff to the kids, and let them watch. They can watch anything.
Yep.
A child can see anything as long as you explain it to them. Now, if you leave him and Joy in the room by themselves, it's going to come out a mess. I don't care what it is. Because Joy is 5 and he 5.
Right.
What can Joy tell him? He don't know nothing. That's the blind leading the blind. That's Stevie Wonder and Ray Charles fighting over who's going to drive. Can't get out the parking lot.
But, you know, but the crazy thing about it is people say, well, I'm trying to support a lifestyle for my kid. I got to work these jobs. So a lot of kids are lacking.
Your kid has no life, let alone a lifestyle, because you ain't there. Kids do what you do, not what you say. They don't care about the cause. When they little, kids just want some love and attention and somebody to be around them. And this is a scenario I use all the time, and people hate it.
Okay.
I always have had dogs, just until recently, because I downsized and moved back to my little duplex here. And after I had back surgery, was cut in half, and I realized even my job tried to fire me, and everything you thought you had in order, everybody turns their back and go the way they want to, so you got to secure yourself where you're going to be comfortable. So when I moved back here, and my neighbor always called the police about my dogs. I don't have dogs anymore, but I've had Rottweilers, I've had Shepherd and Wolf mix, and Norwegian elk hounds with hunting and all this kind of stuff. And I just recently, a couple of friends of mine had me training some pit bulls. I never did that before. What an experience. But I have to say, if I could train pit bulls, Rottweilers, wolves, how you can't train the kid? You trying to tell me your kid is dumber than a dog? That's what you're telling me. Your kid is dumber than a dog. Because I can tell that dog to sit, heel, stay, attack. Your kid won't even sit. He definitely won't stay. So that's what you're telling me. If you can train an animal, it's the same. Unless you're telling me your child is more unintelligent than a dog. And humans are supposed to be the most intelligent creature on the planet. My dogs ain't fighting with each other, and I have mixed. People say, you can't put a Rottweiler and a Norwegian elk hound and the rest of them together. Well, every now and then they have a little flare up just because it's just, who don't, because personality blend. But on the whole, them dogs stayed together, worked together, fought together, did everything together. So what you telling me, we can't all live together and work together?
I mean, you right on point.
It's a simple analogy. If I can train them, I ain't no way in this life you're going to tell me I can't train no kid. It just ain't going to happen. There's no way. It ain't that difficult. But guess what? Even them animals take time, because if I don't spend time with them, I come back, they tap everything in my yard.
Oh, wow.
Stuff is just shredded to people. Why the dogs tap everything? Well, I ain't been here for 2 days. I just left some food out there, and they ain't spend no time with them. Your children are the same way. They become latchkey kids. You don't spend no time with them. All money ain't good money. Everybody can't raise your kids. You leave your kids with other people, they morals and things may not be the same as yours.
That's true.
They sit there watching all kind of crap. Jerry Springer on TV with the kids. Kids know nothing about that stuff. And you come home, you putting on Sesame Street.
Right.
They go, Mama, put on Jerry Springer. How you know about Jerry? Well, the housekeeper, she watches Jerry Springer.
You tell the truth.
We do what we see, and we imitate what really is in front of us, not what you tell us. Children never do what their parents say. They do what their parents do. You gonna tell me to stop smoking? Then you up there chain smoking? You need to stop smoking. That ain't good for your health. And then you stop.
That's true.
You up there drinking a 40 and telling me don't. And you mad because I'm drinking my 7-Up like it's a 40. Well, I'm watching your example. I just can't get alcohol yet.
You know what's crazy, though, when you say that, I was thinking about, I saw a story on BET, on Biography Channel, and usually white kids, they parents were motorcycle people, like biker gang folks, and they said the only reason why they didn't do drugs or alcohol because Mr. T told them not to do it. And he said he don't do it. You know what I'm saying? He said Mr. T actually saved us from our parents. I mean, I just thought it was like Israel, you talk about this. So when we talk about the power of the media, here's a black man who said, I don't do them drugs are bad for you. So you got some white kids whose parents did everything that Mr. T said was bad for them, but they end up listening to Mr. T.
Because they liked him. And if they like you, they do what you say. See, parents got to stop being their kids' friends.
I heard some
lady say, oh, I'm my daughter's friend. Your daughter don't need a friend. She got enough friends. She need a parent. That's why she's so bad.
Like, the friends enable you to do bad things. I mean, they could be good people, but your friends like, okay, I ain't your daddy, I ain't your mama, so, I'm just telling you how it is. Right.
Because if I can control your child and I don't know your child, how come you can't? I've looked at people's kids and they stop doing stuff. Because when they look at me, they know I'm a no-nonsense guy. I will snap your little butt in two. I'm not the one. He sit on down and shut up. How come you don't never look at him like that? I ain't touching. I just looked at him. He read my mind. And you can't do it. And if you do it when they're little, you don't have to touch them when they get big.
Now, you don't want them to get, all right, you don't want to say, like, his kids are actually be with their parents now. I be hearing them talk about it.
Oh, trust me, they do. And that's why and that again is why I use the analogy of the dog. You know, dogs, their behavior is to chew up and destroy stuff. So if I can look at a dog and control them dogs, a pit bull, when it lock on something, it's locked. And I don't even, the only reason I use leashes is because the law say you have to have your dog on a leash here in California. The dog must be on a leash all the time. But people had a dog on a leash and they still bite somebody. I've never had my dogs bite anybody that I didn't tell them to bite. Unless they came into property without permission. But if they're out there with me, never have they ever bitten anybody. If they out there and they ain't with me, they've never bitten anybody. Unless you come on the property. So if I can train him not to, how I can't get your kids to have some control? These are vicious animals. That's their nature. They enjoy attacking and tearing up something. How you can't control your kid?
You tell the truth, man. You're right on point.
Because a dog is like a gun or a weapon. It can destroy and kill just like anything else. If it ain't trained properly. How can I not control your kid and get him under control? You trying to tell me your kid don't even have the intelligence of a dog?
It's a lot. I mean,
now think about it. We talking about even a poodle. Your kid is equivalent to a poodle, not even a chihuahua. That's sad. And then all it is structure. It's structure and discipline that you give them at an early age. Because I guarantee you, once my dogs got old, I ain't touching them. I ain't saying a whole lot, but sit, do this, do that. They already know from when they was teeny tiny what I wasn't going to tolerate.
Let me ask you this.
Because I know once they get too big, they're so strong and powerful, I couldn't stop that dog if I wanted to. If he wanted to eat me up, guess what? He could actually tear me up and eat me up. While I'm sleeping.
It's a trust and it's like you build a trust with, like a dog, you build a trust with a dog.
It's a trust and a respect.
And a respect, right.
And the same is with children.
Let me ask you this here, like, you think Mike Vick should have a dog then? I mean, you're a dog lover.
It each his own. I don't care what Mike do. Mike made some mistakes, but everybody else, I don't think Mike should have went to jail for the dog thing, believe it or not. Because people been having dog fights forever. I don't like them, and I don't agree with them, but people have done it. And we got worse crimes than him going to jail for that. We got more other stuff that needs to be prosecuted other than that. Get over it.
But you think he feel like he earned the right? I mean, I know people earn. That means a lot. I mean, like, it's very patronizing and condescending, but you think he should be able to have a dog if he wants.
If he wants a dog, Mike can have a dog.
He
can have a dog. It's going to make him happy. Let him have a dog. Now, if he kill a dog or do something crazy with another dog, then, hey, that's he got an answer to that.
But you know what is crazy, though? I mean, I don't know, crazy spoke to what you were talking about. Here's a man who did 2 years in Leavenworth, and really he's supposed to be demoralized and pathetic figure. But now he's at the best in his career. He's at the top of his career. And this type of mindset we as black folks can have. If you want to do something, we can put our minds to it and follow through. We can do some incredible things. But like you said,
I heard some white sports announcer say, well, look, this is a shame. Michael Vick's been locked up for 2 years, and he can come back and play ball like this. That just tells you we don't have good players on the outside.
Believe that, though. These are the best players in the world. These are athletes,
He's a disciplined, superior guy with structure.
Yep.
And he knew he made a mistake, and he had to work twice as hard, but I knew with so much money that white America got invested in him, they wasn't about to let it be done behind no dog, okay?
I heard that.
Because it was just many white guys betting on them dogs as well as black guys. If it's that big of a ring of dogs, ain't no black guys did that by themselves. Look like ain't no black guys when black guys got planes to bring all the dope in?
That's so true. But who's going to jail?
When
who's going to jail?
Access to all these weapons. I wish these brothers had it like that. And they can just bring in some food so we can keep eating on a regular basis. Okay, y'all can fly this dope. Buy some food in right now. Okay.
But people know about. You talk to people now. I mean, you talk to black folks about the Iran country scandal and the Gary Webb article, the Dark Alliance and stuff like that. It show you how all this stuff got into our communities, but yet we don't want to know. we don't know.
And it's bigger than the government knows because they make money off of it. Drug rehab programs make money off of drug addicts. If they know drug addicts, there's no drug rehab, and there's no psychologists, and people can go to college and get to be a psychologist or psychiatrist.
Money, like you said, like insurance
all that money.
Like insurance companies is a big business. You're right.
Insurance companies run this country. You want to know what's going on? Check with the insurance company. I'm saying, you want to stop gang violence, insure your child.
That's true.
Insure your child, and I guarantee things going to change. Because they pay $50,000 for that little brother that just got popped. I guarantee you things going to change. Oh, my God. 10 Negroes have died this week. Look at these prices. We're up in the millions. Oh, my goodness. Put a Brandon sit over there. Give us a swimming pool.
You're right. But it goes back to what we say. You look at Chicago where you got 30-something 40 kids getting killed every year going to and from school. And you got Arnie Duncan, the Secretary of Education from Chicago. Oprah Winfrey, who went across the pond. Instead of addressing the issues, she started her business in Chicago. And, you got the President of the United States who's from the state of Illinois. It's like that, but yet, this is a prime example of what you're talking about. What we did, with Darian and Albert happened if we insured our kids.
What it mentions that, insure your kids, and I'm telling you, the gang problem will stop. If I had kids, I guarantee every one of them going to have insurance. Because I can't control what they do and where they go. I can only put in them certain things and instill in them. And if they don't follow that, I'm going to get paid.
I talked to an elder. He said, when you look at slavery, black folks were treated a little bit. It was slavery, though, but the white folks look at the black people as property. They treat them a little bit better when you own it as an investment.
Trust me, they were better when they were slaves and they was free.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't hit him. Don't put no bruises on him. Don't put no bruises on him. That's my best one. Think about it.
You're right.
Now, once you're free and they don't own you, they don't care if you broke your leg or what happened.
Right. But
they best picker, they best worker, they didn't let nothing happen to him.
Yeah. They'll find you jobs to do. You free, like Paul Mooney said. They want you in the neighborhood when you free, but then when you get back to slave, they say, we got your bedroom just like you left it.
Thank you.
got 12 jobs for you. I get to work. Welcome home. But you are so on point, man. It's a blessing to really talk to you.
And sometimes I look at sports now. Sports to me is slavery. Because look what the brothers are doing.
Yeah.
And look who owns the teams. It ain't none of us.
You're right about that.
And again, once they finish and they get hurt, they put them out to pasture.
And now you look at the head injury, too. A lot of them committing suicide because of concussions and stuff. Like, you can't remember what you did when you was 20-something. You 41, you can't remember what you did when you was 25.
And then there's no life after that, and you got no skill or no education, so what can you do after it's over?
That's true.
Now, Fran Tarkenton, I think, was some kind of accountant or something in the off-season. Most of our brothers, when they ain't playing football, they ain't doing nothing.
That's true. That's so true.
If you're going to be in the game, make it work for you. Find something.
Well, you feel like they get paid? I mean, what do you think it is because they get so much money? Because back in those days, they had to work in the off-season. They had to come to reality and find
these brothers need to catch a hold and get a grip on it because you making $50 million and you end up broke. I don't know. I never made that kind of money.
I know it's right.
I don't understand it. I don't have no sympathy for people that had $50 million and went broke. The Spree Wells and all them people. I don't understand how you make as much money they making in a season and you ain't got no money. What were you doing?
I mean, they pay for everybody. You know what I'm saying? They make bad investments. Like they got they trust the white accountants to tell them. I mean, but it's like how when Eric Monty sued Norman Lear in Hollywood, his lawyer was working for the system. It worked for the Hollywood machine. He couldn't find a representation in his best interest. And all them agents and stuff, a lot of them, they are in the best interest of the league, really, before you as the individual.
But then that's when you got to wake up and smell the coffee and get some other people that will support you. That's
we got to
your own kids to college, and you get some money and groom your own child to become a lawyer so he can work the system.
I agree with you. They were like, because Jewish gangsters, like the first generation of Jewish gangsters, they didn't want to be
Jewish and Italian gangsters did it. Sent their kids to college and everything.
Exactly.
Else. You're gonna run the family. You're gonna become a doctor. You're gonna become a lawyer. You're gonna become this. And they all in the different businesses. And then we're gonna go through you guys. We're running everything through you people. Yeah. We don't want to don't do it.
Right. Exactly. Exactly our point. But we can't get a chance to do like Chris Rock said. He said if cigarettes were made by a black family with Jerry Curls living in Mississippi, it'll be as illegal as a motherfucker.
Okay.
We try to do the same thing that they do. Cause I went to school with some of these folks who forefathers was in the mafia and stuff like that. They don't want to talk about it, but all they know is they got this nice ride. They're going to college and they're going to do something that's very professional and legitimate.
Well, the other thing is once they got their money dirty, they learn to clean it up. We don't know when to get out.
Yeah, that's the problem.
We get in the game and we will never clean it up. The kids was bootleggers.
Right.
And they end up being the presidents of the United States. Come on, folks.
I know that's so true. I agree with you 100%.
But we're the only ones that can't get out the game. And I tell young black people, if you're smart as you are, if you can do kilos and grams, you're not an idiot.
Right.
The same marketing technique you use to sell your drugs and dope, you could do to do something positive.
Yeah, that's true.
If you got that much sense to cut grams and kilos and run them guys on the street and got this, that ain't nothing but network marketing. It's Amway. It's Amway with dope. So you're not stupid.
You are so correct, Mr. Wilson.
That's why I don't have no patience, because you're not stupid. You're doing Amway with dope. Amway does the same thing with soap and laundry detergent and everything. Avon does it. You're doing the same thing Avon doing, something you doing.
You know, the guy who owns Orlando Magic, he's the founder of Amway.
See that?
You know what I'm saying? You're right. He goes a long way.
They just take the same thing and make it legit, because you got to wash your clothes.
Mm-hmm.
And dope dealers never sell dope, you think about it. People chase them down. They not selling nothing. I ain't never seen a dope dealer sell no dope. Everybody come look at me. Have you seen the dope man?
It's like selling some chicken or something like that.
Okay, people look for you.
You're right. Supply and demand. I know you, sir.
So we have to wake up and smell the coffee, because it is definitely burning. And we got to stop waiting for somebody to come and save us, because they're not coming.
Well, Brother Will, it's an honor to talk to you. You got anything else you'd like to add? I mean, I can go on and on. I mean, this is my Christmas present. I really appreciate you.
Man, my pleasure. I'm just glad that you can kind of feel what I'm saying, because most people, by the time I get through, they're mad at me and they hate me.
I love you.
Call that guy.
No,
He's so
I love
negative. I have never spoke to somebody so negative as this.
You're not negative. Because you're negative, you want to try to help people still. Only negative folks, I mean, you try to help. You try to be a part of the solution. You just saying people to wake up and stop being a zombie walker.
Thank you, because they're just zombies now, and let them dictate whatever they want to put out there to us, and we buy it and we accept it. And we say, this is how it is.
Right, it's not how it is. Right.
Life is what you make it. They give you lemons, you make lemonade.
That's so true.
Give you apples, make apple juice. No, we're going to sit there and just let it rot. Man, ain't got no apples and they ain't got no juice. Well, you had them, you said they let them rot. You knew when you bought a case of apples, your butt could not eat a whole case of apples. You one person.
But you know,
juice it.
That's so true. Because, you know, a classic example of that is the fact that Kuzak been complaining for years how Memphis treated them in terms of all this money they bring into the economy.
And then they bought a hotel and it rotted.
Thank you. You read my mind. Thank you.
I don't have no sympathy for them. Every year they come in there and they raise the prices of the hotel fees. And you that stupid, you buy a hotel.
Right, exactly. I don't understand.
Change the game. You spend money on hats and everything else. Sell some hats and buy a hotel, pay it off, and get you a Ritz-Carlton.
Why we shoot our own selves in the foot, though? We don't understand. Dr. King talking about
everybody else has to rent from you the rest of the year. When the sporting events come in, if your hotel is so nice, guess what? They'll stay in your hotel. They don't care if it's Kuzak and nobody else.
As long as got it right.
People like quality and good service.
Exactly.
Which half the time we don't ever have.
You're right. But we expect tips, though. A lot of us.
Okay, we have the worst service in town. And they talk to you crazy. They have an attitude. Can't smile.
You're right.
I had a lady one time ask me for a tip. I said, buy pork bellies. Then she didn't even know what that was. And if she'd been keeping up with the stock markets, guess what? I gave her a tip that still would have made her a millionaire, because they was up that week.
Pork bellies always good to buy.
Okay.
Well, Brother Will, I really appreciate you. It's an honor to have you on my show as a guest and also as a friend.
Man, my pleasure.
I'm going to be talking to you in the near future because I plan to do some other things. I want to work with you on some projects.
Okay, well, I just hope we can enlighten some brothers and sisters out there, and they wake up and you know, do what you got to do, you know. And that's not to be racist or negative. I mean, I remember one time a guy said, can't nothing white sugar ain't good for you. It contaminates white bread ain't good for you. So why every time they tell us something, we got to believe it?
Right, that's so true. Oh, man.
Go figure it out for yourself.
That's
Everybody with diabetes and all this stuff, I don't understand it. You ain't got to have it. You choose to have it. If you know certain things going to give you diabetes, high blood pressure, why you do that?
You know what's
change your lifestyle and change your habits. If you don't want to, then don't tell me you disabled. Put a disabled sign in your window, because you ain't disabled. You just overweight.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Because you don't have to be. We make choices, and if you, whatever, my dad's always tell me, he says, son, if you're man enough to live with the choice you make, then I'm man enough to let you go through it.
I like that.
Because you make the choice.
That's right.
And if you can live with it, I can love it. You want to marry that gorilla? Guess what? You wouldn't marry that gorilla. I'm not mad about it. She a little hairy. I have to explain it to people, but guess what? I'm going to support you all the way because you can live with that gorilla if it don't kill you.
Right, exactly.
It's choices. We do what we do. And we got to stop blaming other people for what we do and what has happened. The things that happened, yeah, a lot of people had things to do with it. Racism, white people, a whole bunch of stuff had stuff to do with it. But guess what? We can't keep crying about it at this point in this day and time. We got to get over it, move on, make the best out of the situation that we have.
That's true.
We can't keep blaming everybody else for what happens. Because we don't even help ourselves when we get in the position where we can.
That's all.
We don't work together. We don't help each other. There's no reason black actors should be having to struggle and try to find a job when you got a Tyler Perry or you got a Oprah Winfrey. Spike Lee don't pay nobody either, so how can he talk?
He in the house. He up in the hoch. Like what Obama said, the house Negro and the field Negro.
Okay. Everybody get their money, but they don't want to pay you. It's a privilege for you to work in their film. Mm-hmm. No, it's a privilege for me to be acting on your set. Because I make your story come to life and I make your movie good. Fair exchange is no robbery.
That's right. Brother Will, you are right on point. Cause I know when I look at the movie, I don't care about special effects. I want to see if the actors could tell a story.
Trust me, it's the simplest movie. If the acting and the stuff is good, all that blowing up stuff don't matter.
It don't matter.
There's a great movie called, I don't know if you ever saw this movie, Down in the Delta, with Alfred Woodard.
Yeah.
And Al Freeman Jr.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, Mal Angelou directed it, right?
Yep, great movie.
It was, yeah.
But most black people didn't see it. Because, you know what I mean, if black people would have saw that movie, half of them would have got off drugs. Just by watching that movie. Because it showed the strength of that family supporting that girl and then realizing her choices could jeopardize the whole legacy of that whole family.
Right.
Do you really want to do that over some drugs? And she turned her life around. Brilliant acting. Alfred Woodard was great. Al Freeman Jr., everybody was great, just great. But nobody saw the movie. Because we say we want good movies, then we don't support them when we make them.
You're right. It's so true.
So I get tired of when you going to make this kind of movie? You going to make that, and you don't want to see it if I made it. I did a movie called Kings of the Evening. It was about the Depression era, and brothers had these underground fashion shows. Great film, great bonding story with the brothers and them living in this, like a boarding house and them having to stick together. Glenn Turman did some of the best acting I think he ever did in his life, and nobody saw the movie. It took us over 2 years to get distribution.
Oh, wow.
Because people say they want to see it, they don't nobody support it. Tyson Beckford is in it, Lynn Whitfield, Glenn Turman, great cast of people.
Yeah, that's so right. Wow.
We couldn't hardly sell that. We couldn't bust a grape with that movie. So people say they want to see it, but they don't. They're lying.
I guess what we got to do is start early, get the kids while they, get people while they're young.
You got to get them when they're young and impressionable, because that's when it really happens. You see something that changes you from that day that makes you do what you do. Sometimes you see a wounded dog and decide you want to be a veterinarian.
That's true.
Because you saved a bird. That bird fell and you bandaged, and next thing you know, oh man, I made him fly. You think you done worked a miracle.
No, you're right about that.
Take the leg, let it heal, and the bird flew again.
But like Steven Spielberg, I always tell people this. I noticed with Schindler's List, that story was so important to him. He made it in black and white. It had few stars in that movie. So even the lead character wasn't necessarily a star. If you look at Almost Star, he had to have an all-star cast to tell a valuable movie. That's about us. But he had to have all these, And
guess what? Now you hit another big point. If it hadn't been Spielberg, that movie never would have been made.
Exactly.
And why couldn't you get a black director? Well, Gordon Park shot pictures on it, but he didn't direct it. But if it had been made by a black director, it never would have got made. That's why we had Steven.
No, I was surprised Rosewood ever got made. John.
I had to think, and most black people didn't see Rosewood, and they should have.
It's too negative, but it happened. That stuff actually happened to us.
That's why we can't get over where we are. We don't know what we've been through to get to where look, if Steven Spielberg had not made Schindler's List, he never became Hollywood hero again. Before Schindler's List, nobody liked Steven.
Right.
He never got an Oscar. Think about it. He got snubbed every year.
That's
when
true.
he did Color Purple, he got snubbed. We lost because of Steven. Because if Steven gets Best Picture, if he gets Best Picture, he still wins the Oscar. And they wasn't giving him one because you haven't done a Jewish movie yet about the Holocaust and nothing for us, and you got a bunch of Negroes you done made superstars. You gonna do a black movie before you do our story. Once he did Schindler's List, now he back and win Oscars every year.
That's true. Even this Western movie coming out, he's part of that. That's his thing. This True Grit. Yep.
True Grit. He got his name on it.
That look good, though. I know you like Westerns. I
like Westerns. I don't care when they're bad, I like them. Because I just like Westerns. Because those are escape movies. Those movies you go to and just fantasize.
It's like when Spike Lee, he did do a great World War II movie. That movie he did, I thought it was pretty good. No black folks saw it either. The movie he did about the World War II soldiers over in Italy.
Yep.
That was
Spike
a great
Lee?
movie. Yeah.
Yeah. What was it called?
Clint Eastwood, but Clint Eastwood did Bird. I mean, Clint Eastwood did a lot of, you can't, Clint
Everybody
Eastwood.
else has to tell our story, though, because our story's going to get told when we try to tell them, or we won't spend the money to tell our story.
That's
and
true.
you got to realize when they tell our story, they're going to tell our story from their point of view.
Exactly.
They're not going to tell our story from our point of view.
Like the two sons of the Overture movie that Danny Glover was like, you can't never get made.
See what I mean? And look, what's the one that came out with The Blind Side?
The Black, right? Oh yeah.
Now you gonna tell me ain't nobody black help that kid?
No, he was just this big.
Every time I see a movie, it got to be a white person saving us.
Right.
We can't ever save ourselves.
Even in Green Mile, they do have all that power. You gonna stay in jail and just die.
Okay.
That's craziness.
I take care of an 81-year-old Greek lady right now.
Mm-hmm.
Her husband died, and she was living in the house with a dead man from somewhere from 3 to 6 months. That man was in there dead.
Yeah, that's a movie
She's
right
my
there.
neighbor, and she's right around the corner from me, and I collect motorcycles. So I would go walking, and I would see her. We talk through the fence, and she accused me of breaking in her yard and looking under the cover of the motorcycle. I could tell by the shape, and we became friends. Well, when he died, I gave him my number. I said, look, I'm a probation officer, and I come by here, and I'm cutting your grass from time to time and clean up around your house a little bit on the outside. Never been in the house. I said, now, if your husband is dead in there, you need to tell me, okay, because I could lose my job. And I said, but you ever have a problem, here's my number, and you call me. Well, I get a call from the police department, and they said, you Willard Pugh, we have an Ava DeSantis, and her husband is deceased, and she said you're going to take care of her. Well, I'm stuck with that little old lady. She's now 81 because it's been over a year and a half that I've been taking care of her.
Wow.
And taking care of this woman was when I got my NIG wake-up call. Because I'm paying her bills, taking care of her stuff, and I'm the one that's the bad guy. I want to take her home. I want to take her money. And I done got the lady over $500,000 in the benefits. Got her Social Security, got her disability. Because she came from Greece, and her husband had not done all the proper paperwork with her green card and all that stuff. And she basically lived in that house, never worked a day in her life, and almost lived in that house like an indentured servant.
Wow.
And when she died, I had to go and prove paperwork to prove she was the wife.
Is it like a mail-order bride or something? I mean...
Oh, well, he met her during the war. They was in the war, and he brought her back from the war.
And all that time, I'm seeing World War II, right?
Yeah.
And she him stuff all that time? That's crazy.
Well, I mean, that's the way he was. He was, Italian? He was an Italian guy, and she was a pretty Greek girl back in the day. And all the work that I had put in to try to get this lady, I put $30,000, actually $31,000 in teeth in her head, because all her teeth had rotted in her head. And we had to get them all pulled out. Had to get the house sold and cleaned it out, and she was a hoarder. If you ever seen that show, Hoarding, they ain't had nothing like her house. She was such a hoarder, she hoarded that dead body, okay?
Oh, wow.
I must have done 2 or 3 dumpsters dumping that stuff out. And like I told the court, I have not taken money from the case, because guess what? In the end, if she run out of money, I'm still stuck with her. Ain't like she get broke, I got to throw her to the curb, because I'm all she got.
Right.
So we as African Americans, we have always been people who have helped other people, but we've become the victim. When our house got burglarized in the process of me cleaning it out, police came, and they asked the white guy next door. I'm standing there, had a suit on and everything. And they asked him, they didn't ask me. And I identified myself, told my other probation officer, told me, step back.
Wow.
So when people say racism isn't alive and well, it's alive and well. Every time I take her to court, I see it. Because they look at the big black man with the little white lady. What is he doing? Why is he helping her?
Right. Like driving the station, right.
But nobody said nothing about the 2 white ladies who took everything she had. They went to the bank, took out $17,000. They took $11,000 in cash that I gave to them. If I had $11,000 cash in my hand that they didn't know I had, why did I have to give it to them if I'm so horrible?
And she has no kids.
I had my NIG wake-up call.
I heard that, but she has no kids?
No kids, no children, no nothing.
Oh, wow.
They even once tried to put in that I had stole $500 when I had spent $25,000.
Wow, you can't win for losing the time.
Because people don't understand what time it is. We as African-American people have some of the hardest struggles to ever be noted. but nobody pays attention and nobody don't care. And we don't even care.
Right.
So when would it ever end?
Like, a lot of us die from, like, you said, diabetes and whatnot, but we don't have anything to show for our bad health. We don't own anything. We're going to pass to the next generation.
No.
So we make everybody else wealthy.
And I excuse people not leaving this thing because we don't want them to be fighting over nothing. Ain't nothing to fight over. You ain't need nothing.
Not even the house anymore, because they make these little crazy deals where they on this, past a certain number of years, it goes back to,
They do reverse mortgage and it reverse right back to the same person that sold it to you. You that dumb.
Exactly.
And property is power. Real estate is power. As long as you got real estate, you never broke.
That's true.
And then we get real estate, don't take care of it. And we have some of the primest real estate in the country, and we won't even take care of it. We won't let them bulldoze it down and tear it up.
Because we say it's the ghetto, that's the hood, but it's not really the hood. That's the mentality.
That's
right.
it. I still have my grandparents' house. Fix it up, put a brand new house on that same property because we own the property.
Right.
I ain't letting it go. Because if you don't buy it, you ain't never get your 40 acres in you. You better buy your 40 acres in your million.
Right, like these black farmers, man. Like,
Okay. They don't know what they're waiting on.
Right.
They done lied to you all this time. Now all of a sudden you think they'll start telling you the truth? Get over it.
But it goes back to that tape you was editing about the Obama victory. I remember we went to the inauguration. The white man told us that night, he said, look, man, y'all got to get that man some time. This is really a bunch of mess right here. It was a white guy that said that.
Because they know every nice article that I hear, I read about it, some white guy saying how the problem is really bad and how much good he's doing. I don't hear nobody black talking about it.
They think, this nigga ain't doing nothing. Like,
And then they don't do it on a level that anybody else hears it. It's only done in a small venue. It's never done in a massive venue. Because on the major news stations, nobody talks about the good stuff. They had a beautiful Christmas thing that they just put on. I think what's the guy's name? Common was the host, and it was a beautiful Christmas program.
It was.
I mean, he's doing a good job for what he's doing, but I still say he's a pawn in the biggest picture of history's biggest fiasco, which is the Bush guy. Because he go Bush on TV marketing his new book, laughing, talking about he was an alcoholic and all that. We had an alcoholic president.
Right. He was a war criminal, too, though. He was him and all his little buddies.
Thank you. And then what's the other president? What Cheney shot somebody point blank range, and the victim apologizes. Not Cheney, the victim.
Cheney a gangster, man. Because really, they supposed to took him. They took Nixon. Him and Rumsfeld used to work for Nixon.
How do you go to jail? You shoot somebody. Look, if I carry a gun to school or to work, I go to jail. This man shoots somebody at point blank range, don't nothing happen to him.
He's a gangster, man. He's a gangster.
I can't wait to be vice president. I get full anonymity.
You're right.
Immunity.
I mean, Spyro Agnew probably saying, how the hell he got that?
Okay. And then he had all that Halliburton oil and all that stuff, and then he's setting the fires and then put them out and then getting paid for that.
Right. He also, he played a part of that BP thing. I mean, it's all a money thing. It's like it's like you talking about some Madoff. Look at this cat.
Bernie ain't done half of what they did.
Exactly.
Them Bushes is something else. All the Bin Ladens flew out the country during the 9/11 when no other planes could fly, but the Bin Ladens went out. And I've seen videotapes that I got from years back where the families were all buddies and friends.
You right.
And people forget about it because we are so forgiving. Black people are some of the most forgiving people I've ever seen.
It's
we talk about slavery and we forget that we never were slaves. In Memphis, they had the yellow fever epidemic, and it wiped out all the white people. And we took over all their businesses. When they came back, we gave the businesses like they'd never been gone.
But who brought back the city charter was a black guy. You right?
Okay, thank you.
And they ran them out of
town.
Right
back like it never happened.
And white folks ran them out of town. They got caught.
Okay.
Yeah, his folks out of town.
There you go.
You right.
We are so soon to forget. That's why I tell people history is so important. And that's why the Jewish people always make sure that they know their history so they don't make the same mistakes. We don't want to see our history. We don't want to know our history. It is too painful. No, what I'm going through right now is too painful for me.
Right, it is painful. You live it. You still alive. Because
I don't understand why we're still in the same boat after this many years. Because this bad boy is sinking.
What did the guy say? The ship be sinking?
Okay. It's a shame.
It is.
2010. Are we going to do any better in 2011? No. All I can say is I got to take care of me and do the best I can with what I have because I can't save the world.
You know what people saying? 2012 going to bail us out. That's the end of the world. These people crazy. 2012, everything going to end.
2012, and we still hear what they're going to do then. So they'll spend every dime they had and did everything because they thought it was going to be the end of the world. Now they really broke. Oh, it's the end of your world. Because you went out and spent all your money thinking the world going to end. Now it's 213. Yeah, it is the end of the world for you. You idiot.
They always say, I remember when 2000 came around, you know how people say about the millennial thing, all this, everything going to stop working.
We still here, did nothing stop.
Exactly.
230 will be here unless we don't live that long. 3,000 will still be doing the same crap.
Mm-hmm.
When we gonna wake up? Black people living a bad nightmare, and I just think they enjoy it. I think they like being under the gun and just going through this crap that they go through. Because some stuff you don't have to go through it when you know it's there.
That's true.
If you see it and you acknowledge that it's there, why are you going through that? Why you put yourself through that? Why you keep making the same dumb, stupid mistakes? If you went to jail the last time, you gonna go to jail the next time.
You're right. You always gonna get caught. I mean, you don't beat the system. That's why I talk to the young guys. They think, they already, them cops know what y'all doing. Like I said, every time they take y'all to jail, they making money to send their kids to college.
Thank you.
Every time they pull those crap games and you think them officers really your friend, they profiling you. So when the time comes, they're gonna take you down there.
Okay.
You're right.
Learn and understand this game called life.
Mm-hmm.
I think what black people like to get their kids for Christmas, don't give them no Nintendo, no video, give them a Monopoly game.
Exactly.
Every black family needs to have a Monopoly game, make them play it every day.
Mm-hmm.
So white kids do.
They sure do.
They learn Monopoly at an early age, and guess what? That's all life is like a Monopoly game, and how you play it, who's going to win.
Right. It's like family reunions. Like I told a relative of mine yesterday, I said, look, when we do family reunions, to be about family business. We should all create some type of credit union or something and decide on businesses we want to invest in.
That's
so
right.
You get like $5 or $1 or something. Everybody gives something to this. It's like 200, 300 of us. And they don't take that seriously. Like, man, we got so infantile. Us being in charge of shit.
But we'll party, though.
We'll
party dance all night, though.
Right. Yes, you're right.
Y'all say party, we coming.
I don't know problem with that. There's a balance. You do some business and some pleasure. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but we don't do that. We don't know. We extremists. Black people are extremists. We can't do nothing in moderation.
Right, you're right about that.
And they don't know anything in moderation is okay.
Right.
But we can't do nothing in moderation. We over the top with everything we do.
That's true. That's so true.
It's sad, but it's true. We gotta go all the way or no way.
Like, we look at our cars, you got our circus wheels and loud boom boxes.
The wheels cost more than the doggone car.
That's what I'm talking about. So when it gets stolen, I mean, what you going to report?
And y'all get my chrome wheels back. I don't care about the car. I pay $1,800 for them rims.
I know that's right.
How much was the car? Man, I ain't pay but $5 for that car. How much was the car? Give me some rims, man. I roll it on 40s on that one.
Oh, my God.
Why'd you just buy a tractor?
And they ain't going to break the law, try to go fast on big thing, on big whole wheels.
Okay.
You don't need to be doing nothing illegal with them car like that.
And I remember when they first had them, the rims, the axles was breaking because the wheels were too big.
But the mechanics and stuff be knowing it is get what you want. People don't tell you nothing. But it's on you, though. It's on you because, like, sometimes I go to AutoZone. I mean, I don't know nothing about cars, really, but the guys always assume that because you're a guy, you know about cars.
That ain't true.
It's not true. That's you have no father in the house, though. I mean, a lot of us, but that's the thing. It ain't like we got a lack of male mentors in the community. A lot of them ain't. Like you're a mentor. You know, you actually are accessible to people. But there's a lot of people that could be accessible to folks they're not.
Yeah, and that's true. And that's the thing that I think is the saddest, because really you have to start being where people can talk to you. If it's the mailman, I want to know how that mailman did this so long and it never drove him crazy. Right. And all the numbers and addresses. And I mean, it's a science even to his job.
It is.
Everybody got a science, because everybody's not going to be a doctor or a lawyer. Some may be a mailman. What made that man get through that? Even if it wasn't number, he realized, I'm going to make a way for my children to get a better education and a better life, and this is what I did. I had a mail guy that I got to know, and the man was big in real estate. He might have been a postman, but he had more real estate than the law allowed.
Oh, wow.
Please don't let what you see fool you. That was just what he did for his day job.
It's like Rochester for, was it Benny, what do you call that guy? Rochester, his butler.
Uh-huh.
He was big in real estate. He had a lot of real estate.
Sure was.
Mm.
So, I mean, people got to understand how the game is played. Real estate is power. Owning land, owning something is power. When you don't own nothing and you done leased everything, you don't have anything.
That's where you can actually vote.
It's like with the rap game. Half the people leasing their cars and leasing their apartments, and then when it's over, they gone.
That's true. Cause I knew what
Hollywood, that year that, what is it, 6-3 Mafia won for It's Hard Out Here for a Pimp, I knew Hollywood was going under there. How in the devil could that win?
The white folks
was offended. They didn't know they were so stupid at the end that they got hoodwinked. And where is 6-3 Mafia now?
I mean, you don't hear too much about them.
Once you done won an Oscar, where can you go? You done hit the top already.
It's like winning the Heisman. I don't want to win the Heisman if I was a football player.
Okay.
You can't find. You're right, because a lot of Oscar winners can't find no good roles. Or maybe
some of the Oscar winners is the kiss of death. Lou Gossett won an Oscar, and then after that, his career went under.
Oh man, you're right.
At least he was working regular before then.
So it's best to be a runner-up than to actually be the winner.
Sometimes.
And get a Lifetime Achievement Award afterwards.
Okay.
Because Martin Scorsese, to me, The Departed wasn't the best movie he ever made. It was like a, we met. It's like after Hitchcock never won an Oscar, he won a Lifetime Achievement. They gave him a Lifetime Achievement Award. But there's a lot of great actors and actresses I can remember never won an Oscar. But a lot of Oscar winners I can't remember.
Thank you. It's just an award, and that's your peers that ain't even your peers half the time.
Right, exactly. I doubt a lot of people actually look at the movies.
Okay.
All of the movies.
So people go picking by the names and the people they're familiar with and all that kind of stuff. A lot of times when I get my ballots, I used to always have my students go over with me because I know I haven't seen every movie that year. And sometimes even when I saw them, my opinion, I might didn't see the movie the way they saw it, and we discussed them in class, and that's how I voted. I never just voted straight from my own personal mind. Even now, when I did the SAG Awards this year, I asked other people that I know that watch a lot of films and watch a lot of TV, because I don't watch as much as I used to. They send us the actual discs so we can watch them, beforehand. But me watching it one time does not mean that's the merit of the whole show.
That's right.
And I don't think it's fair. And then we'll go through and say, ooh, I recognize that name, or I recognize that name. Then I'm voting by recognizing a name.
That's right.
That ain't the best actor that year. I just recognize that name.
It's like all-star voting in sports. A lot of times you have a bad year and still get voted in because people know your name.
Okay.
And based on previous achievements or whatever.
That's not right.
That's not right. But it's politics. I mean, anything that you have choices is politics.
That's true. Even in my job in probation, there are people who got jobs and been promoted, and then the chiefs will say, well, that's the politics, and we couldn't do what we really need to do. So after a while, you just learn you got to sit back, do what you can do, and don't worry about the rest, because you'll go crazy trying to control something you can't control.
That's so true. Yeah.
I can't control a whole department. I forgot how many thousand we got, but there's a whole lot of them, and there ain't nothing I can do about it. I can't change what they do. The only thing I can change is me.
That's true.
So at this point in my life, I'm just trying to fix my little world I'm in.
But like you said about the racism, I look at when I talk to people in academia, a lot of them got tenure. It's like that's not even realistic to have that type of job security.
Okay.
Realistic. You don't say they have tenure. What is that? Like, what makes you have tenure? I mean, they'll talk all types of crazy to you.
And nobody got job security. You won't know the truth.
No, not even the president.
Anybody can be fired. They find a reason to get them mad enough. They'll find some reason to get rid of you.
Exactly.
I've been at the county. I had surgery in 2002, and I ended up having my back messed up, and I worked in facilities where sometimes it'd be me and 30-some of the worst kids on the planet, and all of a sudden don't know about how I got hurt. And a lot of my kids never attacked me, but in the process of breaking up a fight or restraining somebody from hurting somebody else, you get kind of beat up. And a lot of kids don't understand that when they slamming you to get them off, they just out of rage and anger.
Right.
Well, you should have sent that kid to jail for a long time. No, you have to know the whole situation, and every kid don't need to keep going to jail. Because I'd have protected myself if I'd have been in his shoes.
Right.
If I'd tried to cut me or stab me or do what happened to some of these kids, I'd have done the same thing.
Exactly.
So you're still a man first.
You're right.
So people need to get over that. You're still a man first, and some of the reactions, like that father, I saw something on the news about this father went on there and cussed out all them kids for harassing his handicapped daughter. And then they're going to send him to jail for that.
Why? They should
because he cussed out all the kids and threatened them kids. I don't give a hoot. This girl is handicapped. That's his child. And guess what? Who in anger wouldn't have said what he said? Yes, it was extreme and over the top, but he ain't hurt nobody.
Right.
But he did put the fear of God. I guarantee they ain't going to touch that girl no more. Sometimes you got to go a little crazy. My criminals always never did this thing because they thought I was crazier than they were. As long as they believe I'm crazier than them, guess what? The natives never got restless.
Right, I heard that. That's how you got to do. But, I'm just amazed about the bullying. I know it's always been around.
It's been around since I was a kid. People used to bully me.
But it's extreme.
I used to always hate that. The only thing bad about that sometimes, which is now how kids are going around killing everybody.
Right.
Luckily, back then, we didn't do a lot of that. When people make you so mad, I was always the person that was quiet, kind of. I mean, I was outgoing, but when it came to people bothering me, when I do snap, it was always be to the extreme. Mm-hmm. And now people end up killing folks. But thank God I wasn't in that mode as a child. But bullying has always been at that point. But nobody's ever addressed it or dealt with it.
That's true. Even the suicides, though, because, kids, I remember, families don't eat together no more, too, the lack of a family unit or structure,
But that's when we could talk about stuff. We sit down and talk about what happened today. My daddy walked me down the alley when a handicapped boy used to rob me. He had polio, but he was probably 16, 17 years old, and I think I was 14 or 13. And it was, how you let a guy with polio rob you? Well, he was older, and usually when they get handicapped, they're strong because he had to use them walkers. His arm strength way stronger than mine.
Right.
And if most people look at it and see him disabled, they thinking I'm the criminal. Because I'm the one beating up a handicapped boy. No, the handicapped boy was robbing me.
Right.
See, they shoot. You see how it's easy to get twisted?
Yeah, I see you right.
And luckily, my dad walked down there with me and watched. He said, no, you going to whoop his butt or I'm whooping your butt. Because there's no reason for you to do this every time you go.
That's true.
And once we did that, he ended up moving out the neighborhood.
You stood up for yourself, though. That's very important.
Okay, but sometimes you got to stand up for yourself.
You know what? They could be the parents, or a lot of the adults. They're afraid. They got audacious with their head in the ground. There's so many issues. It's just craziness to me. But
and parents don't. And then if a kid is bad, most parents don't want to believe their kid bad.
Yeah, they all say, "Well, hey, my child."
But he acts so sweet at home.
Right.
He's the worst child on the planet. So what they do at home and what they do in school or when they're away from you ain't never the same.
But it's even the girls are more aggressive than the boys now.
Girls have always been more aggressive. If a boy shoots you 5 times, a girl gonna shoot you 10 times.
You're right. I'm talking as far as the gangs and stuff, how they fight. They vicious.
Yeah, they always been more vicious than boys. Look at the crimes that women do versus men.
Yeah.
Ask Al Green, them grits. A man ain't about to throw no grits on nobody.
Right, that's true.
Look at the woman who ran over her husband in the parking lot with a car. He ran over and then ran over again.
Like it did that Lorena Bobbitt cut off the guy.
Lord, don't even go there. Woo!
The stuff they do, you're right. It's extreme stuff. It's like Lifetime.
They do extreme when they do what they do.
Right, exactly.
No. People need to wake up and smell the coffee. It is what it is. We in denial. And it ain't in Egypt either, okay?
Right. You're right. And Brother Willard, I appreciate you talking to me, man. It's an honor.
Hey, my pleasure. I'm going to get my day going here because my other phone been ringing. I keep missing it. Probably folks calling and wish me a Merry Christmas.
About to come in for work, right? You're going to look at the Lakers game, right?
Is that Knicks? The Knicks is on now, I think.
It is? Okay. Yeah, it is that time. Okay.
All right, I got to catch my Lakers, and I got that 81-year-old lady. We're going to do a few things today, so I got to get up and run around with her.
That's like the new version of Driving Miss Daisy now. You can do a movie about that.
I told her. You know what I told her? I said, girl, this is like Driving Miss Daisy. She said, no, she died. I said, you keep it up, you might too. She's bossing me around and pushing me around. I said, shoot, you better watch yourself.
I heard that.
And my mother came out here, and the two of them met each other, so now I got one. I call them Ebony and Ivory. I got one in black and one in white. They just alike.
I heard that. Well, you are a blessing, man. Keep on being you. I really appreciate you, sir.
All right, man. You have a Merry Christmas. Tell Mom hello for me.
I will. Thank you.
All right, now. Take care.
All right. Take care.
All right.